Filled with Counterpunch boxing news, and I am live to talk about Ain't Nothing But a Gangster Party. Dude, I just literally just saw that, and I'm like, something about that just don't sound or look right. We've got enormous giant clothing company, wonderful fight. Michael Rowley, I'm guessing it's a low offer. Ruiz wins either or. Cisco Perez, what's up, Kurt? Getting KO'd. Michael Manning, Kurt doing Andy Wilder. I'm coming for you. Wilder, I'm coming for you. I'm ready. I'm starving. I'm broke. My bitch wife is taking all my dough. I'll fight you, Deontay. I'm ready. Please give me more money. Josh Goggins. Good evening, brother from Alabama. Hashtag Bomb Z Squad. Josh Goggins representing Alabama, so we know he's representing the Alabama Sledgehammer Bars. Um, I'm like, well, a good offer. See, here's the thing. Let's talk about that good offer for a minute. What would he think that would be a good offer for Andy Ruiz? Josh Goggins, yes sir. But seriously, what do you think would be a good offer for Andy Ruiz? Like, did Andy leave OBC? I don't think he did. I know they both said they're going to try something else because, like my industry right now, it looks like, everybody's just kind of sitting around. But then you have to keep in mind, though, where we got Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence, or Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford, next month. And then we had Garcia. Then we had, well, that was a joint effort. So that it wasn't just PBC. You know what I mean? So, and then soon we'll have Canelo fight Charlo. So you have three fights that are all on PBC. Well, two fights, so we have to be fair about it because the Garcia Davis fight was a joint effort. See, I saw it on DAZN. Canelo made it easier and just said, you know what, I'll go over there. And really all that comes down to, people, is the fact that Eddie Hearn and Al Heyman, they don't really get along like that. They don't make those type of fights happen unless something else happens. And with Canelo, something else did happen. He left and decided not to sign with DAZN, or re-sign with DAZN in order to make that fight easily applicable, right? So I think that's what really happened with that. So dealing with PBC and Eddie Hearn, I think is just definitely a difficult thing. It's very difficult with those two guys. And they used to be once upon a time cool, and then they're not. And that's a very long story, right? And it was just really Eddie Hearn being more ambitious and saying, you know what, I've got the zone, and I'm going to be your direct competitor. But now the problem is with that, which is not impossible because we still got Ryan Garcia versus Tank Davis, so it can happen. It's just they don't happen all the time. What's up, King Kurt? Wesley Gamble in the business. Counterpunch to you. Watching now. Yo, Kurt, bit random, but how about Ruiz versus Usyk? Ruiz versus Usyk. Hell, I would like to see it, man. I remember 3, 4 years ago, I did a Usyk Ruiz breakdown, and it was, you know, I just see Usyk beating Ruiz. I think Ruiz is better with fighting taller fighters, which is weird to say, but I think he's more accustomed to that because if you guys can remember, he fought Joseph Parker. He didn't necessarily do a bad job with Parker, but he didn't win a decision against Parker. Now that could be due to where the fight took place. But Parker boxed and moved because everybody knew Joseph Parker at that time, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, which is a while back, was one of the fastest heavyweights regarded at the time. He was one of the fastest heavyweights. So Joseph Parker knew and did a good job. He boxed Andy Ruiz. You don't just fight Andy. That's what happened to Luis Ortiz. Luis Ortiz thought he could go in, just do the King Kong thing and go in and get a knockout, aggressive knockout like he's accustomed to. But for one, he's like 50. For two, Andy is not going to fold over a couple shots. Okay? And he hit Andy first, and he hit Andy hard. And Andy told people, Luis Ortiz, he hit me real hard. Those punches, I saw them coming, but I just couldn't avoid them. No, boom. Oh. But no, I mean, that's not going to happen. You have to box Andy. The stupidest thing, and that's how a lot of people fail to Andy Ruiz. They thought, like Anthony Joshua, they thought they were going to go in and get a superb knockout and then just knock over the fat man. You're not going to knock out a dude with no neck. I'm sorry. That's not going to happen. Andy Ruiz has not been knocked out. That's why I am so interested in this fight right here because, see, if Wilder can knock out Andy Ruiz, he's done something that nobody has done, including the guy that he is most famous for beating, Luis Ortiz. So guess what? Luis Ortiz couldn't do it. Joseph Parker couldn't do it. Anthony Joshua couldn't do it. And guess what? He could. Dude, if Deontay Wilder can knock out Andy Ruiz, he will be making an impactful statement. He will strike fear in heavyweights all over the division because the moment they see Wilder, Wilder got a. When you see Wilder do that, he's about to throw the right hand. And if he throws it and knocks out Andy, and if he renders Andy Ruiz unconscious, people, he will be the most feared because he's done something that nobody else has done in the division. That's why, speaking of which, that's why Joe Joyce taking out Joseph Parker was so impactful because he was able to stop Joseph Parker. Nobody else could. Think about it. Dillian White couldn't. Anthony Joshua couldn't. Who else did he fight? Andy Ruiz couldn't. So a lot of guys, no other guy could do that to Joseph Parker. And Dillian White's supposed to have one of the best left hooks in the business. And he caught Joseph Parker flush. And, Joseph Parker, he ate it. But then after he ate that Big Mac, he had to take a nap for a minute. In other words, he was dropped. But he didn't stay there. Okay, so Joe Joyce was able to just beat him down. So, so a lot of people, and that's why Joe Joyce was feared, because a lot of people like, damn, he did that to Joseph Parker. He did that to Spidey Joseph Parker. So, it's crazy. Hit the likes. Chris Arreola did hurt Ruiz. Well, he hurt Ruiz, but understand that was a Ruiz that lost about 25 pounds. He wasn't the same person. Trust me. He wasn't the same Ruiz. That's why he decided, if you guys can remember, he started complaining. I just don't feel the right type of energy fuck this, I'm just going to be eating. He needed to get that fat back because Andy Ruiz is just a fat dude. And see, the thing is, even though he was out of the ring for a whole year and a year and 5 months, he was there for a year and 5 months. And even though he lost the weight, I think he was constantly trying to lose the weight. And when you're constantly dropping weight, you can't get adapted to something that you keep changing. And Andy kept changing because he kept dropping. He kept losing. When you're changing, you're losing weight. So that's what happened with him. Andy Ruiz was the fat guy. See, he wouldn't have got knocked out in December for nothing in the world because he was damn near 300 pounds. You weren't going to knock out Andy Ruiz, not at that weight. See, he had got to, I think, 267, I believe, right? Wasn't it 267 or 256? Something like that against Joshua. Well, when he started losing weight from 2019 to 2021, 2 years, and he took a year off to try to change his way or his body type, that wasn't good for him because it was messing with his energy levels. You need all your fluids to be the right way for certain stuff, okay? Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. You had two runners, and I specifically remember it was two runners, and it was like one runner, he was always getting beat by another runner. And the other runner was, a little slender than him, and all he did was eat oatmeal in the morning. Whereas the other runner, he was thicker, he was bigger, but he couldn't keep up with the smaller runner rather. And what his diet was eggs and sausage, okay? So it was a lot of protein. So this is what he called himself doing, and 2 slices of bread. So he had 2 eggs, 2 sausages, and 2 slices of bread. And then he called himself, he found out what the other runner ran and ate, rather. And he was like, okay, I'm going to eat oatmeal then. Okay, what happened? Not only did he didn't win, he didn't finish. So he was a lot slower because he wasn't accustomed to the amount of protein that he had. The same with Andy Ruiz. So he tried to acclimate to some other guy's diet, and it didn't work for him. See, you have to go what works for you. It's a lot of reasons. Genetically and a lot of stuff. You can't just change overnight certain things, especially in an extreme sport like boxing. Let's see what we got here. Yo, Kurt didn't rank. Okay, yeah. But back to Andy Ruiz and Usyk. Usyk, now he has a chance of beating Usyk, just hitting him or catching him and hurting him. But I don't even see him doing that. Now, will he be able to hit him? I think he will. But someone like Usyk will give Andy fits. I'll go a bit further. If the Usyk we have currently fought the Andy Ruiz of 2021, he would have stopped Andy. Because see, Andy wouldn't know what to do, and he was fast. He's always been fast-handed. But he wouldn't know how to deal with those many shots because he'll be trying to hit a person that's not hard to hit. He'll be throwing a lot of shots, and he'll want to mix it up. And I think if Andy decided, let me just go out there and kick his ass, I think that will be more of a success than him trying to go out there and box. No. Let's get the likes up. Michael Manning, counterpunch to you. Let's get them. Wilder will take Andy's whole head off. Fly tie blizzy. That's what I want to see. I want to test that chin of Andy. I want to see what that chin is really made out of. I remember Tyson Fury was asking Deontay Wilder, He was like, "Come on, Wilder, I want to test that power. Come on, give me one here." And he found out, though, because that was in the very first fight. He went from, "I want to test that power, those little skinny legs." He went from that to, "He's the hardest puncher in heavyweight to history, no doubt about it." Yeah, man, that's a good short. You know what I'm saying? But, like, definitely, bro. He went from that, "I want to feel that power. Come on, Deontay. I want to feel it, my boy." He was pushing him. "Come on." And that big ass beard, you know. That big wolf vagina right here. I got Andy beating Wilder, bro. Drool Titan LLC. Well, see, here's the thing. The only way Andy does that, and anybody should know this, Andy Ruiz, the only way that happens is that he gets close enough to hit him. That fight I see more like David Tua versus Lennox Lewis. Andy Ruiz versus Deontay Wilder. Tall, rangy, powerful versus short, fat, strong. Tall, rangy, powerful. I didn't say tall, rangy, skilled, and powerful. Okay, that's Lewis. Wilder is tall, rangy, powerful, not skilled to that capacity to say, "Oh, he's just skilled dude." No, he's powerful. He's dangerous. He's just strong. Wilder is just strong. Who you talking to? Like Anthony Joshua. Kurt, who wins? Frank Sanchez versus Deontay Wilder. I don't think that would be a fight that Saudi Arabia would want for him to make, because Frank is young. Frank don't have those issues that Luis Ortiz has. And see, the sad thing about Luis Ortiz, though, Luis Ortiz was just old. He was just old. Because at the very end of the day, it was just like, you know, like they knew when to make that fight, but they also knew it was a dangerous fight. See, it's one thing to know or to feel that, to one day to feel a person's ready, but it's another whole different thing to know when that person's ready. See, when Wilder fought Ortiz was a guy that, yeah, he looked like he's getting old. Shit, he was 39. Listen, the same month Wilder fought Luis Ortiz was the same month, March, that he turned 40 on paper. Okay, don't mean he wasn't already 40. Because you don't know how old Luis Ortiz is, because you can see now, dude, you don't even look like you're a 40-year-old. You lied about your age. Like a lot of Cubans who lied about their age. But you have to understand, if you're coming from a country that nobody really knows you, you know what I mean? Besides certain people, if nobody really knows who you are, you can lie. Go ahead. If you think other people wouldn't do that, how old are you? And you're 35. I'm 25. Oh, you're 25. Okay. So then when you really get when you really get 40, you're 30. So it's like, yeah, that's when things happen. That's what Luis Ortiz did. But Luis Ortiz was still dangerous. They just knew, he's slowing down a bit. Let's throw Deontay in there. They wouldn't have pulled that shit years ago, but to be fair, Luis Ortiz was with Matchroom at that time. People forget that very quick. And he fought a couple fights with Matchroom. And his age, along with the drugs, because remember he had failed 2 drug tests. Well, really 1, because the second time he was on high blood pressure medicine. It's another thing people don't really factor in. The dude was taking high blood pressure, and you got to think about it, dude. Hypertension. Either I know you're an Afro-Cuban, so I mean, that's like hereditary and a lot of like African, based people or whatever. But then It's another thing though, your diet. That means you had no dietitian. That means nobody really helped you prepare your meals. You just went home and your mom and your wife cooked for you. I mean, it might be good. You might stay fat and happy, but then if it keeps your blood pressure high, that's not good for you. In other words, you have to change your lifestyle a lot of times, especially if it's hereditary. You know what I mean? That's for everybody that is dealing with high blood pressure. You don't have to take high blood pressure medicine. You just can't eat the shit that you are accustomed to eating because it's not good for you and your body. Counterpunch. So with Luis Ortiz, him taking blood pressure medicine was, was like, okay, that's kind of like, that you could have avoided that, because it's better to stay healthy than to get healthy, you know? And what happens if Ruiz beats Wilder? Wilder will lose a shitload of money, and then it will be bad for Wilder. Wilder should just go ahead and retire. And it's either, because this is what's going to happen. If Andy Ruiz beats Wilder, if Shelly Finkel is not smart enough to put a rematch clause in the contract, Andy Ruiz will want Saudi Arabia money, and then he will demand it and justify it by the fact that him and Anthony Joshua were the ones that kicked off the whole idea of Saudi Arabia and boxing in Saudi Arabia. You remember he got 13 million and Anthony got 85 million? You guys remember that? I think Anthony got 60 some million pounds. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, he's going to, if he beats, this is what happens if Andy Ruiz beats Wilder without Wilder having a contract attached to that. I want Usyk. I want Tyson. I want the fight. I'll fight Anthony Joshua. I deserve it. I'm the former unified champion. I've taken out Joshua and Wilder. Call me, Prince Khalid. I need you. My bitch wife is hurting my career. Yeah, man, yeah. I mean, and like, but see, even if Andy tries to fight a rematch clause, Deontay Wilder can't get mad about that. You know why he can't, or he shouldn't, or he should expect that? Is because that's the same shit he tried to do to Anthony Joshua with him, to run to fight him after he beat Anthony Joshua the first time. Because Al Heyman, he was trying to fight to get Andy money, but he was also trying to fight the whole contract deal with Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua that they implemented in that fight. See, they weren't stupid enough. Even though Andy Ruiz was this big of an underdog, they wasn't stupid enough not to put that contract in, that rematch clause in that contract. They wasn't stupid enough not to do that. That's what shows that Eddie Hearn's a good damn businessman, because he was also realistic business-wise. See, emotionally, it was like, man, we don't have to put that shit in there. Joshua was going to stomp this little dude. After all these dudes, and look, you only get your head bigger when all these other guys, I mean, Adam Kalnaki, Luis Ortiz messed it up with him and Jim Jimenez, his manager. This is a bullshitter, really. He wasn't really a good manager. Who else do you have? Dillian White, Jarrell Miller. He had to take drugs in order to fight Anthony Joshua. So, yeah, Eddie Hearn could have made a mistake like that. He could have made a grave mistake, like, oh, look at all these guys. They don't want to fight Anthony Joshua. Jarrell Miller shot so much fucking drugs in his system, which is fucking disgusting. And we don't need a rematch contract for Andy fucking Ruiz. Yeah, he did, though. And they still tried to fight it. So if he beats Deontay Wilder, that and he will be regarded as the King Slayer. If Andy Ruiz beats Deontay Wilder, he will be regarded as the King Slayer. And there's only one more king to really, I can't say only one more, but there's one more original king to slay of the three-headed dragon that Lennox Lewis created. See, Lennox Lewis, big up England, big up. Lennox Lewis created that whole idea. that whole image of a three-headed dragon in the heavyweight division back in 2018. It was Tyson Fury, it was Deontay Wilder, and it was Anthony Joshua. That's what he named it. And Andy Ruiz beating Deontay Wilder, bro, you know what that means? That means that he would be that guy. He would be that guy, definitely, definitely, to beat 2 out of 3. Nobody has done that. Nobody with any type of resume anywhere has beat any of these guys back to back. No one. I mean, on the same resume, who can say that they have beat Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua? Nobody. Not Tyson. No one. So if Andy Ruiz beats Deontay Wilder, he will be the official King Slayer. And the next fight that he should go and fight his heart out for and get Al Haymond's ass up out of this secret office or whatever the hell he's at, get him on the phone and make a fight with Tyson Fury. Because, he's done, no one else has done that. No one. Andy Ruiz would be Jaime Lannister, the King Slayer. That's exactly what he would be. And he should be that. Because he is that. And you know if he beats Wilder, ain't going to be from no damn decision. He's going to have to knock Wilder out. You think all that money that Wilder is, that has in front, that's waiting for him at the end of the year fighting Joshua, where, a lot of people just know all he has to do is just throw the hand like pressing a damn button. And then he gets wiped out by Andy Ruiz because he gets too close to him, trying to show some Malik Scott training shit that he's been working on, and gets chinned by Andy Ruiz because Andy might catch him behind that ear, or that shot that Tyson Fury didn't open up on the side of his head. Think about it, people. It could happen. I don't think it will, but it could happen. Because here's the thing. If Andy really hurts Wilder, is going to have to catch Andy. Let's say Andy hits him and then drops him. And then everybody's going to be like, fuck. I will. And a lot of people. I ain't going to be alone. Everybody's going to be. Everybody from the LDBC, from the Diddly Joe to Damned If I Know are going to be like, that's how they're going to look. Fuck. They're going to do that. They're going to look at that. They're going to see that. They're going to be like, oh, shit. Wilder went down from Andy Ruiz. The only thing Wilder has, and this is what's going to torment him, this is what hurt him in the fight that he did lose against Tyson Fury. He only had the right hand as a defense. So if he doesn't catch Andy coming in, because Andy's going to come for him. Andy's going to come in there. Now, but then here's the scary thing. Ruiz might get chinned as soon as Wilder gets up. Because Wilder's going to get up. I don't give a shit if he's flying. They're not going to stop that fight over that unless you got a referee that does that, and then he will be scorned. Do you guys understand if Wilder gets hurt by Andy Ruiz and he gets up because he's going to get up, and then that referee sees his legs wobbly and he stops the fight, which could be, it's just up to his discretion. It's up to any of the referee's discretion. Do you understand? Somebody might shoot that referee. That referee better get out of the country because he may need witness protection. He might put him in WITSAC. He needs witness protection simply because, everybody that, how much money that they will lose, and a referee, nah, you're not right, bro. Call this out. Name someone that Wilder KO'd of Ruiz's caliber. I don't know, because who's to say? That's a good question, Antonio Matthews. Who's to say Andy Ruiz, or who's to say where Andy Ruiz's caliber is? Because here's the problem. There's not enough fighters that's fought enough people to even create a caliber system. You're talking about caliber of fighter. You're talking about there's levels to this. Yeah, there's levels to this. When you're talking about guys like Frank Sanchez, and then below him like Jared Anderson that's moving up behind him and stuff like that. You got like Efe Ajagba. Listen, yeah, you got guys like that don't supposed to do what or perform against guys like Joshua and Wilder and this, that, and the other. But understand this. Okay. Who do we have? Joe Joyce, he got beat by Zhang. The only person to do that. Cool. Zhang gets beat by Hrgovic. No one's beat Hrgovic as of now. Not yet. Um, Ruiz gets beat by Joseph Parker and Anthony Joshua. Those are his two losses. And then the Joseph Parker fight was a very close fight. See, Andy Ruiz could be a guy that was probably should have only one loss, and that one loss that he took was to a guy was for Anthony Joshua when he got his belts back. Okay, so I don't think that we talk about caliber. We don't really know what caliber is. We don't know who because we don't have an idea. We don't have a caliber system because we don't have enough people that's fought each other to build one. So you can't say, well, what kind of caliber of people? You know, Wilder ain't fought Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker beat Ruiz. Wilder ain't fought Joshua. Joshua beat Ruiz after Ruiz beat him. So we don't really have anything to go on. Who do we have? You know what I mean? I mean, though it's too many people that haven't fought each other. Dillian Whyte never fought Wilder. Dillian Whyte has fought Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker's never fought Wilder. You know, so who's to know? Who knows? There's just too many people on too many islands that haven't visited each other's island. That's a better analogy. You know, we just got a lot of islands out there of people. Yeah, I've visited that before, but I ain't never been over there. Well, I ain't never been to that island. You know, okay, shit. You know, everybody's been to Fiji, but no one's never been to the Marshall Islands. You know what I'm saying? And the Marshall Islands could very well be like Wilder or something like that. So, yeah. Yeah, 267 was Ruiz's weight. You know, and then I think he got fatter than that. I think Andy Ruiz, if he came in and he weighed in, he went from 267, weighed in, then he went from 283, and 6 months later, dude, that's a lot. That's 16 pounds. So he very well could have been 25 pounds over at one point. He damn near was pushing 300. Because 283 is 17 south of 300. And, you know, he trained for somewhat. He just trained to get that weight down because that's all he figured he needed to do. Andy Ruiz thought, oh, I got a big chiseled, soft-headed, big buff bastard that I'm going to do the same thing to. You know, and he partied with the Logan Pauls. You know, look, I bet you look, in between that 6 months from June to December, Andy Ruiz had the time of his life. You know what the type of lifestyle Andy Ruiz lived at that time was the same lifestyle that Roberto Duran had when he beat Sugar Ray Leonard the first time. That's the type of lifestyle he had. We all know, you ever seen Hands of Stone with Robert De Niro and, you know what I mean, the story of Roberto Duran? This guy got wasted, drunk, partied like hell. They came to him and talked him into fighting Sugar Ray Leonard again while he was wasted. He was wasted still. Yeah, sí, claro que sí. Una pelea otra vez. Mucho dinero. $8,000. $8,000. ¿Dónde le papel? Tráeme mi nombre aquí. Ok, vamos. ¿Dónde? Dame más cerveza. Dame, chica. Dame. He didn't even know what he did until a week later. And then they came to him and like, yo, you ready? Like, ready for what? You signed to fight Sugar Ray Leonard. Okay, it probably wasn't that extreme. But I mean, yeah, it was something like that. Just, you know, people didn't follow Andy Ruiz around. You think he visited the president of Mexico. Do you think he wasn't taking shots of tequila and eating pizza and steak and lamb and shrimp and lobster and, you know what I mean? He probably smoked some couple blunts and did some lines and, you know what I mean? Ate sushi off chicks. We know he ate that, didn't he? Man, Andy had a great time. I don't know what you guys are talking about. He had a great time. He had too good of a time. He was the first fat Mexican fighter. He was the first fighter of Mexican descent that won the heavyweight title. No one in the world can take that away from him. That motherfucker was a Barack Obama. Chris Areola was a Jesse Jackson. You know what I mean? Because Chris Ariola was, was an Olympian, and for America, and he wanted to be the first, heavyweight from Mexican descent that became a champion. He wasn't. He got beat by Vitali. Vitali, you remember he cried, "It ain't fucking over, man. Fucking ain't, man." You know? So, imagine Ruiz beats Wilder and we get a Joshua Ruiz 3. I tell you this, it will be a Ruiz Wilder 2 before you see a Ruiz or a Joshua Ruiz 3. You know what I mean? Because I don't think. See, for him doing that, they owe him. They owe him something that he really needs to attempt. See, if he beats Wilder, you need okay. Now Tyson Fury can really shine because if he beats Wilder, that means Fury won't be alone no more. Just like Ruiz joined Wilder when beating Luis Ortiz because he's the only one to do it. Charles Martin was real damn close, but no cigar. So Andy Ruiz beat Luis Ortiz. Old as he is, he still has the victory. The resume is important to a lot of people, especially from a promoter because that's what they use to promote these fighters. And since Ruiz beat Luis Ortiz, now him and Wilder gotta fight. That's why it makes more sense, and people don't understand that. Ruiz fighting Wilder is a reckoning of the fighters that they've beat. They both beat Luis Ortiz. Luis Ortiz was undefeated before fighting Wilder. Okay, Wilder beat him twice. He had 2 losses. Now he has 3 from Andy Ruiz. Now these guys got to settle it because motherfucker, that you've pissed me off because you've done something nobody else but me done. Now I got to come see you. That's what this is about. Like, look at it like that. That's how I'm viewing it. I'm viewing Ruiz fighting Wilder as a situation where the common opponent that only we beat. So let's see who's better out of us two. Then we can have a caliber of who is better. So if Wilder beats Ruiz, we know he's better than Ruiz. We know he's better than Luis Ortiz by his power. Okay, and his power is showed and amplified throughout the heavyweight division because he was able to maximize this power that he had by knocking people out. That's what he did. He knocked out Luis Ortiz. He did that twice, and now it's time to knock out Andy Ruiz if he can, or Andy Ruiz beating Deontay Wilder and stopping him. I just don't see Wilder just this guy you knock out. If Wilder gets to a point he gets hurt and hit and knocked out cold, he needs to retire. Same thing for a lot of these fighters. If Anthony Joshua was that type of dude, yes, I would say the same thing about him too, because there's no way Dillian White is probably a guy that needs to go because he's on that list. He's on that list of guys that has that Julian Jackson chin. Okay, yeah, Julian Jackson was an absolute beast. But if you can catch that man in that chin area, he's out. He's out cold. Okay? So, yeah. Dude, it's so many reasons for this fight to happen. I know I have a lot of comments. Let me knock these comments out. I figured they were going to feed Andy Ruiz to Wilder several years ago. They should have done that, Hawker Mustang. Man, I ain't seen you in a long time, man. I hope all is well. Gentleman's game. Ruiz not beating Wilder. Okay, 256 for Ariola. Okay, so he went down 10 pounds from 11 pounds because he was 267 in the first Joshua fight. So he went down to 256. But understand, Andy was losing weight from 280 something. And then understand, he was probably he gets beat by Joshua. He comes in at 283. He gets beat by Joshua. Do you think he just started training then? No. He took probably a while off. Then the pandemic happened. Then he started. So he probably had 3 months? And so he decided I'm going to get ready. I'm not doing anything. All the fast food places are closed. So I'm going to make this the best of it. I'm going to train and lose all this fucking weight. So, yeah. So he was probably 300 pounds. And then coming from 300 pounds And then in that whole year, he probably lost what, maybe 40 pounds. So yeah, he lost a lot of weight. Andy lost a lot of weight, and it was probably the weight that he needed because his body had to acclimate to that weight. I don't think it did that. So when Chris Arreola did hit him, he was like, oh shit, this 256-pound body that I'm not accustomed to is not used to this. Okay, he's not. That's what it's about, and that's what it was. Andy is better than Joshua. We'll see. We'll see if he's better than Joshua. Those are two different guys. But it seems to me like Andy, he's a tough fighter, because Luis Ortiz gave him everything that he can handle. And then actually Luis Ortiz, I don't know if dude, I don't know if Ortiz knew this, but he hurt Ruiz. He actually hurt Ruiz. He hit Ruiz in the 12th round, and then Ruiz backed all the way off. And if Ortiz was smart, he would have beat Andy easy. Just avoid those wide shots. He didn't have to get hit with those shots. He was trying too busy to to fight fire with fire, which was dumb. He could have used that jab and bet, then boom, then stepped, then, kind of used those old ass legs to step around Andy Ruiz, because Andy Ruiz, he attacks when close enough. That's why I see someone like with Wilder knocking out Andy, because Andy's not going to let those hands go until he gets in a position to let them go, to let them fly. And if he never has that, if he's just looking, he'll try to move around and bob and stuff like that to get closer, kind of like a Rocky Balboa, trying to get under these shots. He's eating these punches and stuff like that. That's Andy. But if he gets close enough, Andy's gonna throw those punches hard, and he's gonna throw them wide. And look, forgive me for not thinking that shit ain't intentional. I think those punches that Andy throws are very much intended to hit you anywhere around the temple area, behind the head area. I think Andy Ruiz throws those shots because he knows, there's a reason why those rabbit punches are illegal. And he throws them and he lands them. He hit Luis Ortiz, bro, behind the head, man. And he did that with Joshua a few times. Nobody cares because the shot he hit Joshua with was legal. And it's very, very, you don't want to be too tedious about how a fighter gets hurt, but then you don't want them fouled after they're hurt. The injury that they sustain after the fact that they were hurt. All that shit should matter. All that shit should matter. Ruiz, I bet the fight won't get made. I hope it gets made, man, because if they don't, boxing has to grow sometimes at some speed. Because if Andy doesn't fight Wilder, he never will. If Andy Ruiz does not fight Wilder this year, and that fight don't get made, it will never happen. Because there will be no reason for it to happen after Anthony Joshua and Wilder fight. Nobody would really, really care at that point. Because, see, Wilder will probably, if Wilder knocks out Joshua, Joshua got the zone. So that'll be his fourth loss. And then he'll be looking probably towards retirement, but who cares? Because Joshua will be a multimillionaire because he'll probably get $50-60 million for fighting Wilder. So I don't think it would matter. I don't think it would matter at all anyway. And Andy Ruiz will just be that guy once upon a time beat one of those those kings of the division, one of those champs. And then we'll never know, So you'll hear guys like Wilder, especially Tyson, Anthony Joshua, he got chinned by a little fat Mexican. Well, nobody else has fought this little fat Mexican. Somebody else fight this guy to show that, okay, Anthony Joshua really ain't shit. He really ain't shit because guess what? I showed you, This is how you knock out Andy Ruiz, something Anthony Joshua never could do. In fact, fell victim of at one point. Gentleman's game. He is, in my opinion, better handsome, better boxing IQ, better amateur background, more heart, more skilled. I mean, handsome has nothing to fucking do with it. However, how you look has everything to do with how you are marketed. So that is a factor, believe it or not. Anthony Joshua. If Anthony Joshua was fat like Andy Ruiz, do you think he would be making the money that he's making? Hell no, he wouldn't. They'd probably call him the fat Nigerian or some shit. Fat Niger. You know what I mean? Hand speed, not handsome. That was my okay. Okay. Hey, no problem, dude. The voice on the phone shit, it will say some shit that you never intended to say. I do feel you on that. No shame. Kurt, who will Andy Ruiz versus Ali Aaron? Who wins? Ali Aaron. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen enough of Ali Aaron Demirizin. I haven't seen him in a long time. Ruiz will not beat Usyk. Well, I don't think he could beat Usyk either unless he hurt Usyk. But I think that's everybody. I think no one beats or with boxing, Usyk, I don't think nobody outboxes Usyk in the heavyweight division without knocking him out. You got to knock him out or you got to hurt him to the point where it was a back and forth fight and you get a knockdown. You may win a decision. But if that man carries away and you're not able to put that man on the canvas to change that with those scorecards, because those points are piling up because he's constantly right jab, right hook, straight left to the body, uppercut, right uppercut, overhand left, jab, 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 jab to the body, straight left to the body, left uppercut. Dude, the dude, and he's doing all this by doing all this. Bow, 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 bow. And it's almost like, dude, and it's exhausting. It's exhausting to look at somebody like Usyk. You know what I mean? Like, you have to understand. Okay, let's do this. I want to, all 100 of you guys, I want to ask you a serious, honest question. Okay? Rene Padilla. Salute Kurt. Praise the Lord. It's hot. Jesus is giving us a free trial of imagining how hot hell would be. Bro, it is hot outside. God bless you, my brother. It is hot. Dude, you can feel it's hot inside. You think Usyk stops Dubois? He could. He could. I think it'll be a 12-rounder. I would be more impressed with Usyk if he did get a knockout. Because nobody's able, Joe Joyce done it. But he beat Joe Joyce once upon a time in the WSB. So, Texas hot is different. Yes, it is. And I'm in the ATX, so it's hot, bro. Shame what happened to Adam Kalnaki. What happened to Adam Kalnaki? Now you got to have me Googling this thing. What happened to Adam Kalnaki? Andy Ruiz should never be able to reach Deontay Wilder. Okay, let's see. What happened to him? Oh, yeah. Oh, God. I'm just seeing this. Joe Cusimano KO's babyface Kalnaki. Yeah. No, I'm just now seeing that, bro. I didn't see that fight. Yeah, Adam Kalnaki should call it quits. It's bad. He should call it quits. It's over. Dude, I'm watching National Geographic, bro, and I'm watching, like, lions eat leopards, leopards eat other, like, cats, and then I think that's what it's about. and then like the vultures are all watching from the sky. So you guys see me looking. That's what I'm watching. Usyk's footwork and output versus Ruiz cement feet. Come on now. He'll dance all around him and just gives him and just gives him the blues. He'll just give him the blues. That's what it is. Wilder got better chance against Usyk than Ruiz. I think they both beat Ruiz because you have to understand, based on their styles, Wilder, I think, is safer to bet Wilder beating Ruiz because he's able to do it with something that he has versus something that he can do. See, he has power. We're just expecting a punch to land. We're not expecting, how good Wilder is than Ruiz. No, we're just expecting Ruiz to get knocked the fuck out by Deontay Wilder. Wilder gives up range. Sometimes he gives up range. But that's when he has his hands up. That's when he'll have his guard up, you know what I mean? And I don't know if he's, I think he'll just be gauging Ruiz, and Ruiz do that, and he's ready to throw that right hand and end that night. And he has to think that way because you have to understand, that's a lot of pressure on Wilder. He has to get the job done. Kurt, what's your thoughts on Dubois and Usyk? You think Usyk stops him? Maybe. And Tua was explosive with his feet. No, he wasn't. Tua was something like a sluggish Tyson at one point. But he gained weight. And after he gained weight, he showed you how he looked more like Andy Ruiz at 283. Even though he was like 252 or something like that. But you have to understand, this guy was 2 inches shorter than Ruiz is. He was like Mike Tyson size. He was like 5'9". So he wasn't the biggest dude. And then you understand, 250 pounds in a guy that's 5'9", that's a burly bastard. And Lennox Lewis, 6'4", 6'5", with the boxing IQ and the power that he has. Yeah, he didn't knock out David Tua. He didn't even knock him down. But what he did, he kept that man honest. He made David Tua pay for every time David Tua thought he was going to throw that left hand to make some type of impact. Oh, that's the left hand, huh? Okay. And every time he threw it, because he had to, that there comes, look, Lennox Lewis knew, let him throw the left hand. I'm going to hit him with a straight chopping right every time he throws it. I'm going to make him pay for missing. And he missed all night, so he paid all night long. Lennox Lewis, big up England, big up. Absolutely. Can't even say a guy is strong, not without it being racist. Yeah, that's just Anthony Joshua. That's something that he had was wrong with him. I don't know. But you can't judge how a person takes anything. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times it's like, for one, it doesn't matter how you meant it. It's how people take it a lot of times. So Anthony Joshua took it that way, okay. Well, whatever. I don't think any of those Ukrainians are racist like that. The only person that I've noticed to have to say some racist shit from Eastern Europe was what's his name? Sergey Kovalev. He's the only one that let off some kind of racial slurs that was kind of like, ugh, that didn't sound right. I just think Sergey is an asshole, if anything, though. It's 96 Fahrenheit, but humidity is 53%, so it makes it more hot. It feels like 112. Yeah. I need to get out there in it, man. Skrilla 50 in the building. What's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Karma Serene, I think it was because when they defected, it helps their amnesty to say they're younger. That's what someone told me. Karma Serene. Oh, good point. Counterpunch to you. ATX in the building. Bill, do you think Wilder versus Ruiz is a good match apart for a payday for both? Yeah, I think it's a good fight. For all the reasons I explained. They both beat Luis Ortiz. Now it's time for them to show it on, to show who's better between the two. At least we'll know that much. You know, there's many battles that could be made in the sport of boxing, especially in the heavyweight division, that we need to explore as fans. And we should want to see these fights. We should want to see the Zangs versus the Joe Joyces, and the Joe Joyces versus the Anthony Joshuas, and the Anthony Joshuas versus the Hergovics, and the Hergovics, you know, versus the Wilders, and the Wilders versus the Ajagbas, and the Ajagbas versus the Joshuas. You know, the Tysons versus the Usyks, and so it's so many different fights. You know, the Dubois versus the Joshuas, Dubois versus Jared Anderson. You know, Frank Sanchez taking on. You can't say Adam Kalnaki; he's done. Bars. I think like Frank Sanchez taking on Jared Anderson. That would be a good fight. You know, a lot of fights, man, could be made that are not made, and they should be made. And we could enjoy the heavyweight division the way we're supposed to enjoy the heavyweight division. The chains and the shackles from the heavyweight division in the last 6-7 years have been done. It's almost been 10 fucking years, and we still haven't seen an Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder, an Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury, a Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk. We haven't seen these type fights. We've seen little fights here and there that didn't even supposed to have an impact. That's why they were made. That's not good enough. It's not. It's not good enough for us as fans to sit here and see, okay, we got Joseph Parker versus Derek Chisora. Okay. How about Joseph Parker versus Andy Ruiz? How about Ruiz get some get back, some avengement? How about that? You know what I'm saying? Like, how about we get those type fights? You know, how about we see Effie Ajagba take on who? Who can Effie Ajagba fight now? Oscar Rivas, that was a great fight. That never happened. I don't even know if Oscar Rivas is around no more. I think his eye is gonna just cause him to be a fucking bouncer, like just something to get him by. Because I just don't see him coming back. And he fell for that old Bridgerweight bullshit. So we don't know. Let's get those likes up. Dark facts, bro. Kurt, who wins prime Luis Ortiz versus Jared Anderson? I don't know. Probably Luis Ortiz. It would be a good fight, but I think what'll happen, that fight, if Luis Ortiz was a young bloke fighting Jared Anderson, I think Luis Ortiz would show Jared Anderson what a time punch feels like, and then Jared Anderson's chin will actually be tested by somebody that actually knows how to exploit all those damn punches that Jared Anderson throws. Jared Anderson throws a lot of sharp punches. Some of them are quite wild. Remember the Jerry Forrest fight? You imagine if that was Luis Ortiz. Luis Ortiz is going to take 2 or 3 shots to hit you. It reminds me of something my uncle used to say to me when I was a lot younger, talking shit at him. He was a lot older than me. Uncle C. This guy told me, he said, man, I'll take 2 or 3 of your punches, to get up on you, and I'll take a few of your good shots and catch you with a shot to knock you the fuck out. I think that would be what that would be. Because understand, Luis Ortiz, we don't know how old he really is. Luis Ortiz, if he's 53, like if his honest age is 53, because Joel Romero, the UFC guy, he's like 45 or 46 or some shit. He said Luis Ortiz is way older than 43 that he claims he is now. Because he's supposed to have been born in 79, March 28th, something like that. Or yeah, March 28th, I think his birthday is. I could be wrong. I know it's in March, late March. He said there's no way he's that old. He's that age. Okay? He's older. So there you go. So I think Jared Anderson would actually be tested with somebody that actually knows how to time that speed that he has. I don't see Ruiz or Wilder beating Fury. Well, we just have to see it first. I want to see them. I don't care. Because see, what we do, we talk because that's all we can do because we haven't seen anything. We're not even basing these fights off of fights that already happened. In other words, we're not talking about a fight that happened and this is a rematch. So we don't have, so at least, like rematches. I remember when Andy Ruiz beat Anthony Joshua, and everybody was like, Andy Ruiz will beat Joshua again. And I'm telling people, no, that won't happen. I didn't see enough about Andy Ruiz to convince me that he will win a rematch against Anthony Joshua. I just didn't. I seen him get caught with a shot, and I'm like, okay, I don't see Anthony Joshua allowing Ruiz to do that again. I don't see him getting that close. I don't see him taking those type of risks, and he didn't. He got in that second fight and he boxed all night long. But he showed Andy Ruiz that, hey, I'm going to hit you with the right hand and I'm going to show you that I'm in the fight, but I'm going to box you primarily. And Andy Ruiz didn't do anything about it. That's what pissed me off about Andy. And it's like, okay, Andy, you're fucking limited. You're just a guy that waits for a guy to get too close to you. Well, what if he never gets too close to you? You're mincemeat. I've seen Wilder beat Ruiz then. I'm like, Wilder's not going to fight like Anthony Joshua fought in that first fight. He's not going to do that. That's why I blasted him for making those comments. You supposed to try to knock him out. No, you wanted him to try to knock him out, so he'll end up in the same position that he was the first fucking fight. You're not slick, and you're mad because he actually won. I don't understand why, because you supposed to fought this guy for $100 million in a contract with the zone that you turned down. So, like, a lot of things just kind of made me think, like, damn, what's really going on in the heavyweight division where we get guys that are actually happy that their rivals get beat? You know what I mean? That shows you that, like, does these guys really have true competitive nature within them? Are they just really have malice towards fighters that made more money than them, and then they're happy because of their demise? It's almost like Oscar De La Hoya and Eddie Hearn. Oscar's like, he takes jabs at Eddie Hearn, and I'm like, you fucking guys are both on the zone, so why aren't you coming together and making shit happen? It's crazy. We seen the Linares and we seen the Lomachenko. That's with Bob Arum and the Oscar De La Hoya. We've seen Rocky Fielding. We've seen Canelo. We've seen Rocky Fielding. We've seen Eddie. Who else was that? They've came together a couple times, so it can happen. But I'm like, okay, you're talking about name dropping. You're name dropping Munguia. Like, yeah, you should want Belonga to fight Munguia. Smart guy. Ruiz spent all that money already. I don't know. Usyk is the king of the cruisers. Well, he was the king of the cruisers. We'll see if he's the king of the heavyweights. That you are true about, St. Don. He was the king of the cruisers. He's done that undefeated. He was able to do a lot of those things. These islands are called PBC, DAZN, and Top Rank. Absolutely. Absolutely. Andy Ruiz eating Snickers. Hrgovic versus Joshua would be a good fight. Yeah, because Hrgovic will fight Joshua. And see, Hrgovic is a taller fighter, and he'll make Joshua fight him. See, Joshua won't be able to do all that shit he was doing, or he's going to get knocked out, or beat up, or dropped, or stopped. See, he won't be able to sit back in the pocket and think about, what I'm going to do. Should I hit him with a left? No, motherfucker. Go fight him, because this guy is after you. He's trying to take you out, bro. Because Hrgovic's going to charge Anthony Joshua. Hrgovic was gifted. Kurt out of controls. Can you imagine if Zhilei Zhang becomes the first Chinese heavyweight champion? Yeah. It could happen. I got choked, sorry. White will lose for that first uppercut. Or any uppercut, shit. Dillian White, man, I told people that years ago. People just was like, no, you hating on Dillian. I ain't never been a Dillian White hater. I just knew Dillian White had flaws like everybody. That's all I knew. And it's not nothing against Dillian White, So that's the way it is. How tall is Andy Ruiz? I think Andy Ruiz is about 5'11", 6 foot. I think he's about 5'11", 6 foot. He ain't 6'2". I don't think he's 6'2". Now, his build is 6'2". Like a lot of actors are. I'm actually 5. I'm 6'3". No, you're not. Liar. Pick up your channel, the Kurt from the UK, best in the business. Steve Matthews, Counterpunch to you in the building. Member! Ruiz, if he goes to the body, he's good. He's got a good shot at upsetting him, I believe. But I think Wilder runs rings around him and hits him with the sniper right over and over until he's done. I just want to know how many times he can take that shot, bro, without him bobbing and weaving and Wilder breaking his hand, And Wilder got to be careful. Wilder he will break his shit to break your face. Ruiz used to absorb some of the damage of his hits he received. Kurt, got here. Who you got? Spencer Crawford. Focused guy. I have just did the breakdown. It's like a 15-minute video. Check it out. Check it out. The ref will be important. Ruiz has to fight on the inside. If he can stay on the inside. Because if he has someone like Kenny Bayless, which I don't think Wilder would approve, but Wilder, he should want someone like Bayless. Because Bayless is a guy that doesn't allow fights to linger on the inside. He doesn't like the idea of fighters fighting to get their way out. He doesn't like any of that. Now, what the hell is that? Like a big eel. Wilder versus Andy needs to happen. Well, Andy needs to agree to terms. Wilder is the A side. So we can all agree to that. Wilder is the A side to Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz needs to accept the terms. But here's the deal. And we're going to talk about this moving on with Andy and Wilder. Wilder made the remark about Andy's father. Andy's father is his manager. So he's mentioned he needs to get his father out of the way to make the fight happen, or he'll end up where he is to this day. Bars. Broke. Okay? And I think that if anything, Wilder needs to... Wilder don't need to do shit, honestly. Who needs to do something is Mauricio Sulaiman. He needs to make that shit happen, which he won't. So he leaves it up to the fighters because he's like, okay, I like Andy Ruiz. He's a good champion, first Mexican champion. He is honored here, but I will not get in the way of Wilder because he is he was a good champion for 5 years. I won't make anyone do anything. The top guys at heavyweight got to start showing heart and mix it up. Jay Roos theory. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Usyk beats all of them. The Jay Roos theory. He may. But then, see, the thing is, Usyk is a guy that's always going to have to show he can do something. No one's giving Alexander Usyk shit. He's not going to come in front runner. He's going to come in the underdog. He's going to come in that guy that always has to prove that he's worth the shit. If not, that's the thing about Usyk. And I think he should want that. Because if that's keeping him winning, people thought this Chisora, I didn't think Chisora beat Usyk at all. I think if anything, Usyk showed that I can take big punches from a heavyweight. Nobody looked at it that way. Everybody looked at it like, oh man, Chisora did a good fight, had a good fight with him. He did him a lot better than Anthony Joshua did. I'm like, okay, you guys can't see that Usyk proved that he could take Joshua's fucking shots, Derek Chisora's fucking shots. What's the other guy? Chaz Witherspoon's shots. And he took them twice back to back. Now he's going on to fight Danny Dubois. If he fights and gets through and beats him, he's a heavyweight. But people won't look at that. He won't get the credit until he beats every fucking ass in the heavyweight division. And that's A-okay. Because if that keeps him sharp on the edge where he needs to be, they'll let it be. Because I think when people start getting praised too much, they start mentally, psychologically letting their guard down. They're not as wounded as tight. They're not as defensive minded. You know what I mean? So that may happen. You know, I think Alexander Usyk is a very dangerous guy because people, I don't think they underestimate him. I think what it is, they just don't. I think they do underestimate him. I think they look at Orlando. They look at Alexander as a guy that fights and he fights for points, and until they get in there with him, and then he's like, shoot, this dude is busting me the hell up, bro. You know. And he's been one of those guys that just beats other guys up, you know, and he'll beat you up as well. See, a lot of people just, oh, he'll outbox you. No, he punches hard enough to really inflict pain on you. See, Chaz Witherspoon, he was like, dude, I'm not fighting this dude no more. I think it was like 8-9 rounds. It was over with, you know. Mauricio is the biggest crook in boxing. He is. He is. That's what I'm saying. Just added a little bit. That smells like OTR. Don't even throw uppercuts or right hooks. Just jab, left hook, right hand for Wilder. Well, man, Wilder would be so much better with someone like Lennox Lewis. But then it would, I think Lennox needs to take Wilder away. He should have, but see, take him away. He should have took him away a long time ago. I don't think Wilder will learn much more than he knows now. You know what I mean? Like as far as like punch development and shit like that, I don't think he'll learn that. You know. One thing for sure, Fury gonna land on Usyk. He should land on Usyk. He better land on Usyk. If Joshua can land on Usyk, why not Tyson Fury? You know, it's just the thing is, I think Tyson and his whole challenge would be, how will he react for a person that could hit him as much as he can hit the other fighter? And see, we've seen him hit by a guy, 6'5", southpaw, Otto Wallin. Otto Wallin landed more on Tyson Fury than Dillian White and Deontay Wilder combined. Okay. And yeah, he got cut a couple times, you know. But then, you know, Tyson Fury clearly won that fight. You know, and a lot of people are looking at it like, okay, well, Otto Wallin has fast hands. He's not slow. He's a southpaw. So it'll probably pretty much go the same way. Tyson Fury will just, you know, be able to land shots and show how good he is, you know, versus a guy that's very, very busy and very talented. He should be able to do that. But can Fury match the punch ratio and cardio? Exactly, Antonio. That's the thing. See, Otto Wallin landed more than those fighters combined, but that still wasn't really enough to even convince people that Otto Wallin won that fight. He didn't. I seen that damn fight. Look, Tyson Fury beat Otto Wallin. If anybody thinks Otto Wallin, besides disqualification or stopping the fight due to the cuts, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the fight itself. And Tyson Fury needs to be respected because he got cut in the second round. I don't give a shit about the politics. The politics are going to be there in boxing. This is the sport that I love that I hate so much. In this case, is the sport that I hate that I love so much because it should have been stopped, but it wasn't. But it showed what? Tyson wasn't complaining about the cut. He wasn't, because the minute he started, that would have swayed somebody to say, you know what, stop this thing. You know what I mean? Or what they probably would have done if it would have been stopped, it probably wouldn't have been a loss. It probably would have been a no contest. Because what they would have done is, see, those cuts were done in the second round. Because they were like, okay, well, those cuts were already done. So technically, we can call it a no contest, and then Tyson can fight all of Vilene ever, or Tyson Fury can just move on with his career. You know what I mean? So a lot of times, a lot of people haven't thought of that, but yeah, there's loopholes around not giving someone an L due to technicality. But besides that part, Tyson Fury beat Otto Vilene. You know, when he came in, he boop. There's that right uppercut. That right uppercut was money for Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury beat Otto Vilene. Now the thing is, will he be able to do that with Usyk moving around and, you know what I mean? It may be a totally different fight than he expects. But if he goes in there and it's like, okay, man, I don't really know, you know, and Usyk is too much for him. Excuse me, Usyk is too much for him. What Tyson's going to start doing, he's going to start fighting. That's when the fight will get real interesting, because Tyson Fury will turn into a fighter like he'll turn into that guy that fought Steve Cunningham. You know, he'll turn into a Orlando Salido when Salido fought Lomachenko. Hopefully without the fouls and the ball shots, you know? Fury ain't never going to fight Usyk. It's just not going to happen, unfortunately. If it don't happen, it'll be sad, and it should hang over Tyson Fury's head. So I think if that was the case, and I think Tyson knows that, Tyson's next strategy is to convince everybody else that he wanted that fight other than Usyk, or more than Usyk. Like it was Usyk's fault. So it won't affect his legacy, because it's something that he's not going to do. You know, it's all about mind games, man. You don't want people to think you were scared because a particular fight didn't happen. You want people to believe that you wanted that shit to happen. Yeah. That's that, man. Vilene was dirty in that fight with smothering. Yeah, he was smearing his fucking glove in the cut. You know, they told him to do that shit. Hell yeah, he was dirty. He was, because they wanted him to stop it, because based on what could have happened, it could have been stopped. And if it got that much worse, I bet you Otto Vilene had a hard on for that thing to be stopped. Let me smear it every chance I get. And you know the sad thing about it? If he was busy hitting the fucking punch instead of trying to smear it, he probably would have been better off just doing the right fucking thing. Just, you know, just boxing him, because that was an illegal shot he hit Tyson with. He hit Tyson with that shot. That shot opened up immediately. He hit him right on the eyelid. He hit that joker, man. He hit him right here. And it was bad, bro. That was a bad cut. Fury was like Apollo Creed after that fight. He didn't want no rematch. He should have rematched him, though. He should have rematched him. You know, him fighting, I get Caballel in late 2020. He should have fought Otto Vilene, because I remember Otto Vilene was calling him out. And it didn't matter how high and how loud Otto Vilene would yell, Tyson Fury wouldn't hear him. You know, I did think that was strange. I did. Maybe if Usyk offered a half a brick of cocaine, then Fury would fight him. Oh, greedy belly, here's some cocaine. Greedy belly, baracha. Okay, Usyk, you got a deal. Is this the pure good shit? This ain't fentanyl. If it's fentanyl, I'll kill you. I'll give it to Shane first. Shane, try out this coke. With pleasure. With pleasure, Tyson. Kurt, do you honestly see Fury fighting the winner of Ruiz Wilder, even though they will be the mandatory? It seems Fury has Suleiman in his pocket. I doubt he forces the fight. H-Town Reppa. Hell no. He's not going to do that, because look. He knows where the money's going to go. Tyson Fury, if he fights, he's going to fight Usyk, hopefully. And whoever wins, he doesn't give a shit, because they're giving 3%. 3% out of all that money for Mauricio. He doesn't care about Deontay Wilder. Doesn't care about those guys to that degree. They're going to give their 3% too. Understand that, okay? But he doesn't care as far as well as the champion. See, the champion is Tyson Fury. You know, that's why he doesn't care, because he doesn't have a pony in the show, because he's not a guy that's making anybody do anything because it doesn't benefit him at all. See, the only thing benefits and makes Mauricio move is money. That's why he was like, "Oh, I'm so happy for Joshua Tyson when they both had the belts," because he knew if AJ beats Tyson, dude, imagine getting 3% out of what Anthony Joshua makes. Yes. You know, you think those guys don't talk? You think those presidents of those sanctioning bodies don't talk about the checks that are the amount of money that rolls in for Anthony Joshua? Think about it. Anthony Joshua paid for the IBF, the WBA, and the WBO, and the IBO, right? He paid sanctioning fees to all those belts and their organizations. They know, and I know the WBC and these guys, they give 3%. So they all knew, based on 3%, they knew how much their salary was. They knew, like, look, Anthony Joshua would be a great asset to be a champion for us because he pays those damn fees. Dollar bills, y'all. They know. So you think Mauricio's going to step up and be a good guy or do the right thing? He doesn't give a shit about that. He cares about that money coming in. Them greenbacks. Wilder is very dangerous with less weight. That's why I see him winning versus Ruiz. Smells like OTR. Yeah, he should be. He should have never put it on. You know, I thought that, whatchamacallit, dude, that's fucking scary. But anyway, yeah, I thought that if anything, damn, I just seen this lion run at this dude and like tackle him. Yeah, I think Wilder should never get that big again. I thought he was training for a movie, like he was gonna be in Creed 3 or something. And then, for that reason, he wants to be bigger because for his stage presence. But dude, not to fight Tyson Fury. He's stupid, man. That's fucking, like, I'm gonna get bigger. I'm like, you're not gonna get 300 pounds. Tyson Fury's just a bigger dude than you. If anyone thinks Waleed won, don't talk to me about boxing as you ain't qualified. Counterpunch to you, St. Don. Tony Lyons. Fury did win nearly every round versus Otto, but it wasn't an easy for him. Yeah, I mean, he beat him, dude. He beat him. That's it. He beat him. Kurt, who wins? Bakarir Jololov versus Filip Hrgovic. I give it to Bakarir. You know why? Because he's more, they both are pretty quick. I think Jololov is more talented. See, Hrgovic is more of a he's sloppier than Jololov. Jololov is more rangier and cagier. He has that footwork with his shit too. If Wilder KOs Ruiz and then Joshua, he's going to be the face of the heavyweight division. I don't see Usyk winning against Wilder if Wilder KOs Ruiz and Joshua. But here's the thing. It ultimately can come down to Usyk and Wilder. See, if Usyk can beat Fury should go away. Fury, he's done what he's done, okay? Unless, see, this is what happened. Usyk beats Fury, and then Usyk fights Wilder. If Wilder beats Usyk, then Tyson will come back and fight Wilder. Because he will be the only guy that sticks out. See, it's not about who beat who, it's about who beat you. Counterpunch. See, and that's what that's about. I think Wilder will want to fight Tyson Fury and put all the belts on the line, and Tyson Fury will have a chance to redeem himself simply based on the fact that he's the only one that beat Wilder. Since Joshua couldn't do it, since Usyk couldn't do it, since Ruiz couldn't do it, okay, who else did it besides me? And I can do it again. It was easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And I'm going to squeeze that lemon squeezy. I'm going to squeeze all the juice out of it. Kurt, do you see Usyk wanting to fight AJ again before he retires just for the last big payday? Believe it will happen. I don't think it will be as big of a payday as people think it's going to be because, see, if Joshua loses to Wilder, then he fights Usyk and he loses to him. That's like 5, 6 fucking losses. Because, see, if he loses to Wilder, that's 4. And then, if he loses to Usyk again, that's 5. But I don't think Usyk would waste time with that. He's fought him twice. Why? See, I don't look at Joshua any special than anybody else based on his money. See, the fighters might want to fight him because of the money. But understand, it has to be something warranted that fighter has done. What has Joshua really done? Let's just be real. What has he really done? Did he beat anybody? Who has he beat? Jermaine Franklin? That ain't enough. You need to do something to redeem yourself to fight the unified champion again. Not just be a big money fight. Because if Usyk wanted to fight anybody, he'd probably fight Canelo. Freak fight. It would be a freak fight. Waleem could beat White. You know what? I think Waleem could beat White, bro. Just me saying that, I think there's a reason that fight didn't happen. I think they were going to fight Otto Waleem, and then they found out they were going to get that Tyson Fury fight, and they said, you know what? Fuck this. You got an injury right now. You got an injury. So, Kurt, do you really believe that Usyk beats Fury, or you wish he beats him? No, I think he beats him. Not that I wish he beats him. Look, here's the thing. Tyson Fury is all about beating the best, being the best. Usyk is the best. Usyk is the pound for pound the best. Fight that guy. What's wrong with you? Now, do I like people that talk a lot of shit? You know something? I like when Tyson Fury did talk a lot of shit, because when he did talk a lot of shit, he was willing to back it up, so I thought. These fights, the Joshua fight with Tyson Fury, I just knew Tyson could beat Wilder based on what I was convinced. Understand, Tyson was down here. You had Wilder, you had Joshua, then you had all these other people like kind of on the side. But you had Tyson down here because Tyson wasn't a guy that did anything, because he was getting loaded for 2.5 years. He was getting drunk, slamming chicks like Wilt Chamberlain. He's probably with Wilt Chamberlain. No, Wilt was dead. God bless the dead. But he was like that dude. He was a celebrity. He beat Klitschko, and and he's undefeated. He's still undefeated. Nobody has beat him. So what, but he had this lifestyle, and he was really abusing himself. You're talking about a guy that partied, bro. He partied hard. And Tyson Fury, I think when he came back to the sport, yeah, he was good for talks and shit and giggles. But at the end of the day, what could he really do to somebody like Wilder that has been fighting constantly for years? That doesn't abuse his body, that doesn't do those things that Tyson Fury did. So for those reasons, I thought Tyson Fury's body was too far from being in good enough shape to beat Deontay Wilder. And I was wrong. Tyson Fury, people, made a believer out of me that desire, skill, heart, ring IQ, faith will prevail in times where people don't think you could do it. Okay? Including me, because I thought Wilder was going to knock out Tyson Fury. And when I saw that fight, I was amazed to see Tyson Fury keep the bull, being the matador at bay. Yeah, there were some scares in rounds 9 and rounds 12, but he was able to keep the bull at bay and didn't lose to that bull. He said he was knocked out for a little bit, but even that was extraordinary, because he just kind of woke up and like, shit, I need to get up. Dude, you can make a fucking movie out of that. Yes, Tyson the Gypsy King Fury made a believer out of me. And he wasn't this big, huge puncher. He wasn't this guy that could knock your block off. He was a guy with ring IQ, charisma, marquee value, apparently. He was able to self-promote and get under people's skin. He had the psychological game. That's Tyson the Gypsy King, baby. That's what he did. And when he became that guy that was the resistance that came back from all that shit and came and lost all that weight and did that against Wilder and didn't get knocked out, a star was born. The star was born. That's what happened with Tyson Fury. How big of a star, we don't really know. Until he fought Wilder again and beat Wilder. But how big was Wilder really? Wilder didn't fight Joshua yet. See, what could have happened, what should have happened, Wilder, with his stupid self, should have fought Anthony Joshua in 19. There wouldn't have been no Joshua. I mean, this would have could have been. If Joshua could beat Wilder, we would have seen a Joshua and Fury. But then Wilder was like, no, I got unfinished business with Tyson Fury. No, you really didn't. You really didn't have any unfinished business with him. You know? And people ran his ass up the flagpole for dropping that money. But no, I was a believer in that. I was a believer in Tyson Fury. Armin, blessings to you and everyone in the chat. Also, does Baby Anderson beat any top guys yet? Absolutely he does. It depends on who the hell he beats. It depends on who the hell he beats. Wilder should have took that money. Scance Rants in the building with the wrench. He should have done that. If he would have handled his business to become one champion, one face, one name, he should have fought Tyson Fury later on after that saga. He could have made all that damn money by whooping Joshua twice, then taking on Tyson Fury. Then we would have been back on track. We wouldn't have even been worried about an Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder fight now when they're not even champions no more. We would have saw it when it's supposed to happen. We would have saw it when they were undefeated. We would have saw it when those guys had all the belts for undisputed. We would have saw that happen, people. You know, and then it is what it is. You know, and then the good thing about Tyson, though, Tyson made a great business decision because what he did based on the performance he had against Deontay Wilder, being a draw, he was able to sign a 5-fight deal with ESPN for 80 million pounds. You know what I mean? So, yeah, he got his money in the bag. He got himself back together. But what about Wilder? Wilder was the only person that really didn't get that satisfaction of getting that big deal. So he was still the only one kind of left out. And then the zone tried to give it to him. He wasn't really, what's the word to say? He didn't have the wisdom or the discernment to take that deal. He should have took that deal. And I guarantee you once, this is what's going to happen. If Wilder fights Joshua, you know where they're going to air that shit on? The zone. You know? These are the best damn shoes in the whole world, right? These are the best damn shoes. They're my high tops. They're good and wide. You get a lot of leverage. Y'all boxed Dale completely. And Dale was march forward and miss. I mean, you know, Chisora did land shots against Usyk. Usyk just wasn't flawless in that fight. He got chinned a couple times against him, and he took those shots. Usyk has to be knocked out cold, bro. You got to knock out Usyk cold. Knock him out cold to stop him. Because he's not going to stop what he's doing, and he's not going to let you stop what he's doing until you knock him out. People need to understand that. He's not going to fold. He's not going to break. He's not going to be one of those guys. You're going to have to stop him. We got to stop this motherfucker. How do we do it? Knock him out? That's the only way you stop Usyk. Because you're not going to stop Usyk from executing his game plan. His game plan is to hit you, miss, bob and weave, counter you, attack you, pressure you, you know, hit you with this ring IQ and stay busy. And then part of his defense is his ability to stay busy defensively while offensively hitting you. That's Alexander Usyk in a nutshell. So this is defense, side to side. That's all he's doing. It's like a fucking aerobicizing exercise. Like this fucking boop, boop. Grab this little bastard. You know what I mean? Now you understand. Like Tyson Fury knows the nature of Usyk. That's why he calls him the way he calls him. You little gappy teeth, ugly little bastard. You little sneaky little, you know what I mean? Sneaky, that means he's slick. And someone slick like Tyson calling someone else slick, yeah, that's a bad sign. Usyk needed to do 12 rounds to acclimatize to the weight division that made him lazy making the first fight. Oh, Juice's biggest payday wasn't 50 million. He asked for, yet he was trying to get 87.5 million offer off Wilder. When was this, Scance Rants? Was this recently? What's this 87.5? I don't know what that is. Mastermind 96. Fury will retire undefeated, Kurt. He already has. Antonio Matthews, if Canelo's Triple G1 wasn't $100 million fight, how do you figure Joshua Wilder at the time was? I don't know. I see. The thing is, Wilder and Joshua, they lost. You know, it lost a lot of steam. Damn, those Lions are tearing these dudes up, dude. St. Don, are you referring to the first and second or third payday Fury gave his pal? In the UK, sneaky means not trustworthy. Ah, okay. So sneaky means not trustworthy. I see, said the blind man. The Joker, I think Dubois is going to drop Usyk for the first time. Win or lose, he's going to surprise people. The Joker. I mean, he could land a good shot. And if he does, that's going to give more momentum for someone like Tyson Fury to get that fight going. Because they're like, okay, well, and I think that's the plan anyway. You know, fight Dubois. You know, do you actually think someone like Frank Warren is really, you know, he wins either way because he knows, hey, Dubois is my guy. I don't really have to worry about him losing because he's already lost. I'm not worried about him. Fury won't be fighting anyone because he's terrified to lose to Usyk. He needs to fight someone, though. He's not scared of his punch or anything, but he's scared of losing. Fury won them all with 2 stoppages. In 2018, when Juice offered Wilder a flat fee to equivalent to 12.5. Oh, well, I don't know if he would have got 87.5 million though. That's just you saying it's $100 million fight. You know, he probably would have got because back in 2018, while Joshua was making like 20 million, 15 million, because I know how much did he make with Klitschko? And that was in 17. So I think he made 20 million. And then he fought Carlos Takam, which was supposed to have been Pulev. I think he made another 25 million. These were pounds, though. I think he made 20 million pounds. And then in 18, he ended up fighting Joseph Parker. And I don't know how much he made with that. Maybe 20 more million pounds. You know, but understand, like, he wasn't making that type of money yet. I mean, I don't know what he made against what's his name? Alexander Povetkin. I know it was at Wembley and it was some millions, but I don't, it was more than 12.5. But then before that $50 million offer, obviously that was a lot of money for him. So it wasn't 100 million or 87, and he wasn't going to take the rest. See, you're looking at it as a split. They weren't offering Wilder a split because they did not believe Wilder was worth a split. Based on what he made, based on his numbers, based on the amount that he's accustomed to, that's what they offered him. Like 12.5, and that wasn't even the deal that Wilder agreed to. Wilder agreed to the 15 million. You remember that, Scance Rants? Not 12.5. He agreed to 15 million, then said he didn't agree to it. You know what I mean? Like, okay, yeah, you did, because that's what Shelly Finkel said Wilder agreed to. And then they decided not to take that fight. And then after they turned down that deal there, after said they did, That's when Anthony Joshua and company moved on and they fought Povetkin at Wembley. You know, so. But I mean, the deals kept going or whatnot, and then Tyson Fury came, and then they made that fight with Wilder. He was offered 12.5 million. He was. He didn't accept it though. Kurt, you're spot on, and it's a pure mismatch for Fury. He knows Usyk's speed, footwork, and angles will be too much. Tyson Fury's all right against normal heavyweights, but he admitted Cunningham was his hardest fight. See, if Cunningham was his hardest fight, he knows that Usyk will be his hardest. Tyson Fury will never admit that because Tyson Fury doesn't want to give the public a real, true concept of how he really feels about Alexander Usyk. That's it in a nutshell. See, if you already know, like he's admitted, and I will do a short on it later on, he's already admitted that that was the hardest fight for him. Since he knows that Steve Cunningham gave him the hardest fight, he came to America. He got dropped by this smaller dude. He really had to cheat to beat that dude, to be real with you, because he had to cut some corners. He had to do some roughhouse tactics. He had to hit and hold. He had to do a lot of shit. You know, even though he was catching Steve, and, you know, I think Steve ran out of gas, I don't think that's Usyk. No, Usyk won't run out of gas. Usyk's going to press Tyson Fury, and it's going to be like one of those fights. You're like, shit, what are we really watching? We're watching this little dude at work beat the shit out of this taller dude. I see it just like Oscar De La Hoya and Manny Pacquiao. I thought Manny Pacquiao was going to get destroyed by Oscar De La Hoya. See, I was always for the bigger dude. I'm a big guy. Go figure. I thought that's what's going to happen. I thought there's no chance for these little dudes, Manny Pacquiao and Alexander. Well, I was convinced by Alexander Usyk. I didn't doubt him. I didn't think that he was going to lose to Anthony Joshua. I think Anthony Joshua had to knock him out. You guys knew, if you guys followed my channel then, you would have known what's up now. A lot of people jumped off of my channel because they didn't like my prediction. You know, because I have a lot of UK followers, but you guys have to understand the truth about boxing. Anthony Joshua allowed, here's the kicker, Anthony Joshua allowed Tyson Fury to get in his head. Hey, Anthony Joshua, the bodybuilder, he can't even box. And Anthony Joshua admitted that. I tried to box Alexander Usyk because he said that I couldn't. You know what I mean? So, yeah, no. And then I think what happened with Joshua, the first fight, psychologically he was defeated. Mentally he was defeated. Physically he was defeated because he tried to do something and he knew he couldn't do. Or he found out he couldn't do. But then by the second fight, he was like, I got to hit this guy with bombs. I got to show this guy that I'm that guy. And he probably wasn't that guy no more. Because he was already in there with a guy that was still able to hit him, still able to counter, still able to outwork him. And, you know, him trying to take him out, knowing that he was doing everything that he was doing to Anthony Joshua, I think was mentally too much. Joshua just never knew what it was like to go to that level, to go to that limit against a guy that sneaky, that clever, that athletic, that skilled. He just couldn't do it. He just couldn't do it. I think Dubois will pull out. I hope Dubois doesn't pull out. I don't think he will, because Dubois knows, like, what else is left for him? That's his ticket. He was the WBA regular champion. The only way that he's going to get an opportunity is through the WBA. It won't be other sanctioning bodies. He has to fight this guy for those belts. If Dubois pulls off an upset, he will be the unified heavyweight champion of the world, and he will be UK's. The belts will all be back in the UK. That's an incentive for Frank Warren. Frank Warren can sit back, and him and Bob Arum can laugh and smoke a blunt together. I don't normally do this, Bob, but give me that blunt. Daniel fucking Dubois. Give me that, Frank. You gotta hit it slow these days. The shit gets stronger. My lungs are like cast iron, but you're right. We can make all the fights in the fucking world. We can make Jared Anderson versus Daniel Dubois. Fuck Anthony Joshua, he's a bum. Fuck Andy Ruiz too. If Wilder wants some, he can get it too. Here, take some more, but hit it slow. And even Steve Cunningham said the referee was going to disqualify Fury in that fight. Kurt, what about Danny Dubois versus Carlos Takam next? That'd be a good fight. Dubois versus Takam. I mean, yeah, after he loses to Usyk, sure. Why not? And Usyk's fans are American, it seems, as if he's everything perfect to beat Fury, on which I really can't see him beating Fury. He has no power, and is not proven at heavyweight. Well, he won't be proven at heavyweight. He will never be proven at heavyweight. Like I told you guys, he will never be that guy that has the juice until he beats everyone, and then people are going to look around like, how did he do that? Well, I just told you so. And I've been telling you guys the reasons for the last 2 or 3 years. Wish Frank Sanchez got a big fight. He needs to lose weight though. They're trying to make him a puncher when he's not. He can punch, but he's not. That's not his high. His thing is about movement, explosiveness, and ring IQ. And they're trying to, I don't know if that's what they're trying to do. If who the hell they are idiots. Everybody was saying Joshua was going to run through Usyk. Most boxing experts, boy, oh boy, they were all wrong. The godfather of boxing, absolutely. Yeah, they were wrong. They were wrong because they didn't know, they didn't understand what that was about. They didn't understand that, listen, Alexander Usyk is a heavyweight. They didn't respect him as one, so they never seen him as one. Does that make sense? See, if someone never sees you as something, they don't respect you as that something. And people looked at Usyk. They looked at the Chaz Witherspoon fight. They see a guy struggling with a bigger guy that did catch Usyk with right hands. He did. He wasn't this guy that was just this slick like a Floyd Mayweather that was able to counter every shot and not get hit like he did against Arturo Thunder Gotti, God bless the dead. Everybody thought that he should be like that, but he wasn't. Then he fights Derek Chisora, and Anthony Joshua was there scouting the fight because he knew he had the winner. He was going to fight Derek Chisora, or he was going to fight Alexander Usyk because that was going to be the mandatory for the WBO. Okay, and what ended up happening was Usyk won that decision, but he didn't win it convincingly like people thought that he was going to win it. Therefore, people put Usyk in a type of situation like, well, if Derek Chisora can do this to Alexander Usyk, how can Alexander Usyk, or put it this way, what will Anthony Joshua do with Usyk since Derek Chisora was able to do with Usyk? People just assume that Usyk got out of that ring and then Anthony Joshua popped up in that ring after that fight. After the 12th round, AJ laced his gloves up and went in there in the 13th round. People thought that. People just assumed that, AJ is just going to finish him off because we've seen holes in Usyk's defense. And what happened? Usyk went out there looking spectacular. The best Usyk I've seen is the first fight with Anthony Joshua. That's the best Usyk I've seen. The second one was it was still Usyk, but it wasn't the Usyk that I saw in the first fight. Usyk was very more elusive. He was more compact. He was good with his shots. He was quick. He was fast. He was accurate. And, when he did get caught with something, he made sure he quickly responded. He answered those shots. He answered the aggression, the energy that was placed upon him by punches with Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua would hit him with a right hand. Anthony Joshua was able to hit Usyk. He just wasn't able to hit Usyk and just give Usyk that one shot that hurt him to be like, okay, go in there and get him. You know what I mean? But then here's the deal. We don't even know if that was the Anthony Joshua that was still around. Because you remember in that first fight, AJ hit Alexander Usyk with a shot that buckled him. He kind of did the little bobblehead. And when he did the bobblehead, he didn't try to advance. But then Usyk, I think Usyk fucking, he faked him out. It's like, his eyes were like, when he got hit with that shot, because he was trying to see what he was going to do. And then I think that's one of the other abilities of Usyk. I think if you hurt Usyk, Usyk is going to tighten up so defensively. He's going now. He knows because it's almost like playing a video game. You know, if you got a guy hurt, and you know if you hit him one more time, he's going to be out. He's going to be more elusive. He's going to be more cautious. He's going to, you know what I mean. And Usyk knew. That's why he was just like, you know. And I'm like, dude, you know, get him, AJ. What the fuck are you doing? What are you waiting for? Get him. You know, like Van Damme. Keep going. Go. Finish him. Keep going. Keep going, Joshua. Please. Hit the fucker. Hit this fucker. Miss Bitch. CP, do a Spanish accent the whole time when you commentate the Spence versus Crawford fight. Oh, man, I don't know if I can do that. Why would I do that? Shit, you start dropping them hundos in there, I may do that, Miss Bitch. I'll be under there. No, Tyson Crawford, no, Tyson Crawford. Hit him harder again, otra vez. You know, I mean, shit. Money talks. Oh, Eros Pen, Jamaicano, oh, Jamaicano legado, hey, you know. When AJ hurt Usyk with that body shot, Usyk started to complain to the ref like he was saying it was a low blow for extra time. Tony Lyons, he did that shit against, that ain't the first time Usyk did that against body shots. Oh, make no mistake about it. People think that Alexander Usyk is impervious. No, he is not. Alexander Usyk, he has a chiseled chin. He can take a headshot, but his weak spot is the body. See what people should have caught on about another undefeated Russian fighter that lives in Canada. His name is Artur Beterbiev. Artur Beterbiev dropped Alexander Usyk with one of them damn body shots, okay? And he knew he did. See, Alexander Usyk taking on guys like Artur Beterbiev, dude, understand, there's guys that can beat Usyk. They're just not in that weight class. Usyk was heavy. He went to heavyweight. Sure he did. I feel Dubois really being underestimated. I feel for Usyk. Hey, man, if Dubois can go in there and do his thing, Dubois might catch Alexander Usyk and knock him out. Who knows? This is heavyweight boxing. Anything could happen. I'm just trying to tell you, you know, you're like, hey, do the whole Spanish thing. Okay. Pero español? It's like, I don't know, like, you know, besides like Caribbean accents, Spanish Caribbean accents. No, like España, I've heard people from like, Argentina, right? I've seen people in Argentina, and it's like they talk totally different. But other than that, I don't know any other ones. So it is what it is. Usyk is at the age where he can get old overnight. Smaller heavyweights age quicker typically. Don't be surprised if he doesn't look great against Dubois. Well, I can't argue with you. I mean, because Usyk, based on the way he fights, would you be surprised if he did, based on his age? You know? No, I don't. I don't think it's fire at all. I think my UK accent sucks. I think the old AJ is done. We might see a better boxing AJ, not desperate for the KO. Well, in that case, his stock should drop. That means that, yeah, he's not going to be exciting no more. People are not going to want to see that shit. We don't want to see a Floyd Mayweather. We want to see a Manny Pacquiao. Yeah, I noticed that is a good game plan if you want to beat Usyk. Go to the body, slow him down for the later rounds. Yeah, no, try to stop him. Hit him with that. Look, hit him under that. Hit him under that right side. Go to that right side of that body. Kawasaki would school Billy Joe Saunders? I don't think so. I don't think he would school Billy Joe Saunders at all. He would probably be more busier. I don't think he could school him. Those two different things. Kurt, I enjoy the show very much. Keep up the good work. Adari, counterpunch to you. Thank you. St. Don, Usyk always does the same thing. Pretends it's a low blow, walks off, and should have standing count against AJ. Mark Breland versus Danny Garcia. Ooh, wait a minute. Oof, I don't know. Mark Breland was excellent. He was extraordinary. Dubois is a good body puncher. Watch out for that in the Usyk fight. Dubois is a hard puncher anyway. And see, here's the problem. Dubois to me is where Edgar Berlanga will be. See, Edgar Berlanga, hard punching guy, heavy-handed guy, always complains about movement and all this type of bullshit. And it's like, you do understand that this is boxing. This isn't like a tough man competition. Maybe you should do that because, you need to definitely understand that, there are levels to this. You're not going to get in there with a guy that does the same shit and allows you to do the same thing. Why would you want that anyway? The same thing that Daniel Dubois did, Edgar Berlanga's doing. Okay? And see, Edgar Berlanga is complaining about boxers, pure boxers. That's what he's complaining about. That won't give him these opportunities that all these other guys that with less experience, lower opposition, gave him. That's why he got the reputation for knocking these guys out, because they didn't know any other way to fight this guy. Let me try to knock him out before he knocks me out. So I'm going to stand right in front of this hard-hitting ass fighter. Why do you do that? Daniel Dubois was the same shit. That's why people thought that Daniel Dubois was going to knock out Joe Joyce. I told everybody, no. Joe Joyce is going to beat Daniel Dubois, bro. And everybody looked at me like I was a fucking idiot. They looked at the age of Joe Joyce, because Joe Joyce at the time, I think, was like 33, 34. And they looked at Daniel Dubois, all the bums he knocked out. And most of those knockouts were stopped early. They're early stoppages based on the referees and their ability to stop fights, because they feel by their discrepancy that they have taken too much punishment. So they weren't true knockouts like Mike Tyson was laying, boom, knocking people out. It wasn't like that at all. Before I believe you're correct, but the hitting arms bit for points made you look silly. I do feel people are writing AJ off like he's done, but I just don't think he is, and I think he's got plenty more to give. Well, I think based on what AJ is saying, AJ is a guy that actually, AJ's a guy that wants to actually prolong his career. If he wants to prolong his career, I think he'll be around longer. I just haven't seen him in these fights that he's claimed he's had. Like you had, the Klitschko fight, all right. The Klitschko fight, the Usyk's fights were tough, but they weren't like devastatingly tough. You know what I mean? And then you really you really have to start questioning people's will. Like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, how tough, how much heart do you have? And then you wonder why people question you. Like, dude, like, if you thinking that was tough shit, you know, he had a couple fights, all right. The Andy Ruiz fight was, like, very unexpected, but, still, like, that don't mean you gotta give up on yourself, AJ should fight Bakali. That would be a good fight. Why not? Let's be real. Daniel Dubois isn't landing a punch on Usyk. I think Usyk eats double D for lunch, too much skill. Yeah, that's what people would assume. I think Usyk beats Daniel Dubois because I don't think Daniel Dubois has much of a chin. I think, a lot of people talk about AJ a lot because people been talking about AJ a lot anyway. So I don't think people talk about Dubois enough. And what happened to Dubois, he quit. I don't care about his eye, yeah, blah, blah. It was a 10th round. Real warriors don't quit like that. You can talk about that eye shit all day. Billy Joe Saunders, it was in the 5th round when he did that. He ridiculed Daniel Dubois. Same shit happened to him. But it happened to him 5 rounds earlier. Daniel Dubois was in a fight that he could have won. He could have just stayed away from that eye. Yes, it was damaged, but damn, it wasn't a fucking doctor in there to show, oh yeah, it's done. Nah, it's or broken. They don't know if his orbital bone is broken or not. They won't know until they get an x-ray, bro. They don't have a fucking x-ray machine in there. They ain't stopped the fight to have an x-ray. They didn't know that. Danny Dubois should have kept fighting. Then that would have showed and proved to everybody, okay, you didn't quit. Oh, and then you won a decision against this fucking guy. See, no one knew that he was going to lose because I think wasn't he up on the scorecards? That fight wasn't a takeaway fight. No, Joyce just bap, 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 bap. He just kept punching him in the eye. Kurt Anthony Joshua will become a heavyweight champion again. Adari. I don't, the right circumstances, and he hasn't fought Fury. Boxing is so strange, though. And see, this is what'll happen, though. If Tyson Fury beats Alexander Usyk, listen to me, people. If Tyson Fury beats Alexander Usyk, they're going to say, all right, Kurt, you're wrong. You loser, you bum, whatever. Do whatever you will. People's mind are going to be blown, and then what they're going to do, they're going to say, you know what? AJ don't stand a chance. What does AJ have to do with Fury and Usyk? Fury and Usyk is their own fight. That's their battle. It has nothing to do with AJ. Tyson Fury has nothing to do with AJ. Beating Usyk proves me nothing with how good Tyson Fury is than AJ. If he beats Usyk, if Fury beats Usyk, that doesn't mean he's necessarily going to run away with AJ. AJ might be that dude that can whoop him. Wilder couldn't do it. If he beat Usyk, then shit. Usyk couldn't do it. Then guess what? He fights Joshua. Oh, I'm going to beat Joshua, the bodybuilder, once and for all. Give me the pot of gold. Then he gets in there and he gets beat by fucking Anthony Joshua. Then everybody's going to be like, oh my God, what happened? No, don't say, oh my God, what happened? Styles make fights. That's what happened. People thought that he's going to go in there and beat up on AJ, and he ain't never fought AJ. He's fought Wilder 10 times. He's fought Usyk. Now everybody just assumes, oh, he's just going to beat the other guy just because that other guy beat him. And, it's just so many things that baffle me about people. Everyone has their own battles. Every fight is different. Okay? One fighter does have, if you're not fighting that guy, shut the fuck up. That's it. Nikki Blue Eyes Austin, good evening. Counterpunch to you. Oh, but yeah, you have. Tank Davis can possibly stop Tyson Fury. Imagine how Joe Joyce would feel if Dubois managed to beat Usyk. He would be blown away, but I mean, that is boxing. That happens all the time. It happens all the time. Okay, let me give you an example on a smaller scale. Adam Kalnacki gave the former IBF heavyweight champion of the world, Charles I Walk This Earth Like a God Martin, his second defeat. Right? Okay. Well, Adam Kalnacki did that. Adam Kalnacki was able to give Charles Martin that. Right? Adam Kalnacki was also able to beat what's his name? Not Hellenius, but Gerald Washington, right? Gerald Washington got knocked out by Charles Martin. Okay, who stopped Adam Kalnacki? He didn't do it once, but he did it twice. Robert Hellenius. Who beat Robert Hellenius? Gerald Washington. Gaha. Do you see what I mean? So that doesn't really matter. It doesn't. None of that matters. How can Dubois win any round against Usyk? He's very basic. He's by hitting him and knocking him out. That's the round that he won. That'll answer your question real easy. It shows he shows you he does not know how to cut off the ring, Balanga. Well, it just shows you that he doesn't respect guys that know how to move and why they're moving. They're not moving to run. They're moving to elude or counter. Eluding doesn't mean running. You know, they might be coming back and going to get some shit. They're running. You know, no need to see the fight though. Not yet. It is. See, here's the thing: the Joker. I don't think AJ has the style to beat Fury. See, that's what people do. The same shit the Joker just did. There's no need to see a fight. See, that's what we're getting into, this mental realm of thinking. Oh, well, we don't need to see Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury if Tyson Fury beats Usyk. Why the fuck not? Yeah, we would. See, I only say that based on how casual people think. That's a casual mindset. No, I said we still need to see the fight, though. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. But a lot of people think that way, you know, and I thought that's what you said, but that doesn't mean that everybody doesn't think that way. You know, they have that mindset. Like, you know what? We don't need to see that. You know, just like, nah, we really don't need to see Muhammad Ali take on George Foreman. Why are we watching that shit? Muhammad Ali, that motherfucker, he didn't want to fight in Vietnam. A lot of people called him a coward. They said you're a coward. You don't want to fight for your country. You're a traitor. And guess what we're going to do for you? The government snatched away your ability and your license to box. So you're going to have to do everything from the Diddley Joe to damned if I know to make ends meet of all the kids you had. Knowing you love women, you got a lot of kids too, don't you? They didn't have plan Bs and shit back then, did they? No, they didn't. You know, and you can forget about abortion. Oh, no, not Muhammad Ali. Hell no. So what happened? He couldn't fight. Then when he does come back, he gets beat. Not only by Frazier, he gets beat also by Norton. That's 2 losses by 2 people. Sound familiar? How many people have beat Anthony Joshua? 2. Where was Muhammad Ali's first loss? Madison Square Garden. Kell Brook is not black. Well, I mean, he's mixed. Leave the guy alone. So, I mean, he can say I'm black if I want to. You know, he can show you a picture of his dad or mom, whatever. What's the point, though? You know, you don't need to get my point. Who gave Kell Brook the N-word pass? I don't understand. What's going on with, where are we going with this? Friends are pretty much forced into theory thinking due to inactive fighters. Well, people just think people just try to overanalyze shit, and they shouldn't. They're underanalyzing shit, actually, by overanalyzing it, because overanalyzing fighters, you know, and I think people get to this, let's cut the corners and let's assume this is going to happen based on something that already happened, based on something else. You know what I mean? So we don't have to see what the outcome of this fighter is, because a guy that beat that fighter got beat by that fighter. So that fighter that beat that guy has to never fight this other guy. It's stupid. You know, because then we say, okay, well, we don't know every possible match outcome and what will actually happen when these guys come face to face. Okay? That's what happens. And a lot of times, that's why a lot of fights actually end up happening, because people think, oh, how do you think you would get a Muhammad Ali versus George Foreman anyway? What warranted Muhammad Ali to take? I know this is old school and people fought a lot back then. They didn't look at boxing like Floyd Mayweather just made a movement to these guys. But what would warrant that fight? Was that really a huge fight? It was a huge fight based on the fact that Muhammad Ali was once that guy. But then you had this other guy, George Foreman. George Foreman was a guy that, you know, was this unbreakable, unstoppable force in the heavyweight division. Kind of a prick, 40 wins, no losses, no draws, no whammies, 35 by KO. 35 by KO. He was knocking people out, including Norton, including Joe Frazier. And based on today's standard, you know what I'm saying? Like, why would we want to see that? I think we try to avoid, I think society of today has become too weak, too sensitive. No, we don't want to see that, man. I don't want to see that guy get beat up like that. Oh no, nah, man. You see what that guy did to those other guys? Do we need to really see that? Oh God, no. We've become pussies, bro. We have. I mean, we have. I mean, a lot of people, not me, and but the society that we're in. And see, that's why people seen that and they're like, oh shit, this really happened. This really took place. You know, Tyson, Muhammad Ali actually beat George Foreman. You know, I think Effie Ajagba might fight AJ in August. That would be cool as shit. AJ is nowhere near Ali. Hell no. No, he's not. But I'm saying guys like Joshua but he's not, AJ is not like what people think he is. You know, what is he? I don't really know. I knew he was a guy that, believed in his power and over knocking people out. Now I think he's more of I think I could be a better boxer now. Well, that shit didn't help you against Usyk, did it? It didn't help you at all. You should have had the mentality, let me go in here and destroy this dude. And you might have actually destroyed this dude. Does Fury fight again, or he will just continue to talk smack? I don't know. I hope he continues to do both. Double D, yeah, but all fans have is fantasy fight analysis due to the fact that they don't fight each other. True, but I think people need to want fights to happen. Kurt, who will win at Jared Anderson versus Anthony Joshua? Now, I think Jared could beat AJ. But then again, this ain't a fucking Jerry Forrest. See, Jared Anderson, he would have to understand that. How tall is Jared Anderson? 6'5"? He's a pretty big dude, ain't he? He's like 6'4", 6'5". He has to be careful. He has to be careful. Yeah, it was sad to see Ali coming back in the date they shouldn't even have they haven't it sanctioned. What? Yeah, it was sad to see Ali coming back in that date. I don't know what time he came back. What else is there to talk about fights that don't happen? Now, that's true. I think Anderson is going to get Martin out of there within 2 rounds next week. I got to see that, man. Till this day, the Bronze Bomber. He says AJ is a weird guy. I mean, well, what else to this day the Bronze Bomber is going to say? What's up, Counterpunch? Hen Dog. What's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Is Baby Miller still suspended? His hype died after the drug BS. No, he's fought 3 times since then, or 4. Foreman would probably still get outboxed, to be honest. I don't know. Kurt, do you think Holyfield, Tyson, Lewis, Bo, Morrison, Mercer era was close to Ali, Frazier, Foreman, Corey? And I don't know, man. I don't know. Because I don't know. Because Mercer was a beast, Bo was a beast, Holyfield was a mother sucker, Lennox Lewis was like Tyson. Man, dude, I don't know. Morrison, look, I don't know. I don't even really like to. I don't know. I really don't know. Jarrett wants to pursue his singing career after 24, I heard. Yeah, well, I mean, if he can sing, may the best voice win. All the top heavyweights are weirdos. To this day, Bronze Bomber, shame there ain't a sport called punch for a punch. Yeah, that's true. That is absolutely true. But back to Andy Ruiz to wrap this up. I think Andy should take that deal. I think Andy Ruiz is a guy that needs the fight. Uh, Pterodactyl coming in with that Cinco. AJ's KO comes from when opponents are tired. Dillian Pulev Povetkin. Well, if he tires them out, he can take them out, can he? So let's see more of it. If that's what it is. I think AJ has punching power too. I just think he's just, he doesn't fixate on it. You have to have said that in a way Ali beat Foreman. Foreman wasted his energy so badly he would learn the hard lesson in economy in the second time, maybe hurt Ali. Kurt, I would like to see Baharil Jolalov versus Derek Chisora. Hey, you guys hear about Derek Chisora and Francis Ngannou? Africa, baby. TIA. Yes. What was the deal for Ruiz as I jumped on late? Well, I don't know what the deal is. And then see, the thing is, we don't know what a good deal is. We don't know how much it was offered. We don't know how much Andy Ruiz was even asked for Tyson Fury. I don't like the whole secret shit, to be honest with you, because I think if a deal is good enough to be made, a deal is good enough to be disclosed. That's my whole saying. I think if a deal is good enough to be offered, I think a deal is why would you want to hide the point? Why would you want to hide the amount of money? If you offered $6 million to Andy Ruiz, that's $6 million worth being proud of, that you offered another opponent for that fight, and you justified based on financial reasons and based on, what that fighter has made and all that other stuff. I don't see how it's look, Andy Ruiz didn't say, no, I asked for $5 million. Tyson Fury, you lying, bald-headed piece of shit. I once liked you. You're lying on me. I think something's real weird with that. But then Tyson can say, hey, the fucking dumb fat bastard, the fucking little idiot wanted $20 million. I'm thinking like $20 million. Like, okay, if it wasn't $20 million that Ruiz asked for, at least, again, Ruiz would say what he asked for to set the record straight. What did he ask for? Kurt, who do you think will win, Ruiz or Wilder, Mr. Twerker? I think Wilder will get him because he's just too tall. His reach, he has the advantage. He doesn't fight like a short person, like an idiot, somebody that Ruiz could beat up. You're not going to squat down to a midget, will you? No, you're not going to do that. That's dumb. You know what I mean? You're not going to give that type of leverage up to somebody that's short. A midget will knock you the fuck out too. I bet you Bushwick Bill will take you out if you get close to him. What's up, man? He will take you out, man. You stand tall. I don't think Chisora should fight no more, especially versus a big puncher. He's already talking slower, acting different. Many people have noticed the same thing. I hope he don't get hurt. Tony Lyons, I really haven't really. I think, you know what, and Derek Chisora, you might have a point. He is a little slower, and then you really, to be fair, have to put a side-by-side comparison on that. And I think that is really compelling me to make a new series called Before and After. The effects of fighters taking punches. So I might start with Derek Chisora. I don't know if he's the more, you have guys like Fernando Vargas, you have Evander Holyfield, you have many fighters that are not the same as before than after. So yeah, you may be right about that. And I think if you are a fan of any fighter, you should be a fan of their welfare and their health. And you know what I mean? So you should care about what happens to them. You don't want people walking around with a wheelchair or, need to be in a hospital. Or, you want them to be signing autographs and taking pictures like they always done, while they were fighting and after them and after their career. So yeah. Ruiz will beat Wilder, mark my words. Sketch, Nikki Blue Eyes Austin, behave yourself. Payday Tony, is he broke already? Ruiz had no shot. Sorry, Lion. The younger generation are more tuned into UFC more than boxing now these days. This year we're getting a great fight, and the promoters should keep doing it. The best fighting the best will back it up. Well, yeah, well, see what killed boxing also is greed. You can't just blame it on UFC, but UFC wasn't all about greed. Yeah, they had one guy controlling that shit, but that one guy made sure everything got done based on what the fighters wanted and based on a ranking system that actually made sense. Not this stupid shit from the WBA, from the WBC, from the WBO, to the IBF, to the IBO, to the Ring Magazine. Like, it's like, look. We have too many fucking chiefs and not enough Indians. Put it this way, we have too many chiefs as well, too, that don't do what they supposed to do. Bars. Kurt, come down to North Mississippi due to the Crawford Spence fight. To do this Crawford Spence fight. Where is North Mississippi? What are you talking about? Meridian or what? North Mississippi? So Meridian, something I'm assuming you're talking somewhere off of 20. That's north. What are you talking about? Tupelo? You know? If Wilder KOs Ruiz, then that I would actually respect his power considerably more than I do presently. Very interesting fight. Well, he would show you he's the man. Chisora is the same. He doesn't hold back. Nikki Blue Eyes Austin. Kurt, I believe every time Fury talks is bullshit. Too much talking and no dancing because everyone is scared to dance with him. I just wish he stops talking and starts dancing. Yeah, shut up and dance. Black Mirror. Ha! That was a crazy episode, man. I'm about to watch Black Mirror season 6 pretty soon. If you guys, love that show. Tyson versus Morrison would have been a sick fight. Yeah, but Morrison, unfortunately, contracted HIV. But keep in mind, man, unfortunately, it happened to him. It happened, Did I hit a nerve? Watch your mouth. Hope we get this fight. Yeah, I hope so too, brother. I cannot watch MMA. All the men might be a better system, but it's a horrible sport in my opinion. Oh, Tupelo. Okay. Tupelo. Dude, one of my best friends are from Tupelo. He lives like right here in Round Rock. He's from Tupelo, Mississippi. That's where Elvis Presley's from. Yeah, Tupelo, Mississippi. We don't even know how good Wilder is realistically. The best thing on his resume is a draw with Fury, and if he knocks out Ruiz, he shows he is the real deal. Well, he shows that he's a heavy puncher because Ruiz has a great chin, but so did Dominic Breazeale. But I think, to be fair, Ruiz had a better chin than Dominic Breazeale because Dominic Breazeale eventually got knocked out by Anthony Joshua and then later by Deontay Wilder with one shot. It's the ugly hammer fist after the KO in MMA. Respected, way out of the window. Jack Smith, I do agree with you. I don't think that should be right. I think when a fighter goes down like that, why the hell would you get to hammer fist him while his head's on the floor? That's fucked up. You can break his nose and shit wide open when he's unconscious. That's the stupidest shit ever. It's like, it's barbaric, and I get it. It's entertaining, but I don't think it's. I don't agree with it either. I don't agree with it. That hammer fist shit, he like dudes all like this, and you're like, I'm like, whoa, wait the fuck a minute. The dude was KO'd, and then it's crazy because it's almost like, I see the ref, and it's, it's like, I don't know. And sometimes, some of those damn referees are like, oh, okay, dude, he's blooded his ass on the K. He didn't look like that when he got hit when he was on his feet. Kurt Shakur versus Tank. Who you got? Tank? Look, I think that fight will be like Leo Santa Cruz. He'll beat Tank technically until Tank catches him. Physically. Kurt, definitely tomorrow I will hit you up on, okay, no work until Wednesday. It's been a pleasure always. Appreciate it, Nikki Blue Eyes Austin. But yeah, Oh, but check the inbox. Yeah, definitely. Big up Kurt. Unless that was the wrong person. I don't know. Ace 99X. Big up to you. Counterpunch to you. But yeah, I think Andy Ruiz should take the deal. And if his father is a problem, he needs to fix the problem, which is his father. So he can't lose that deal. Like deals like that with fights this big for a guy like Andy Ruiz, you have to really question who you have on your team if these fights don't get made. Let me give you an example. Luis Ortiz should have really considered keeping Jim Jimenez on his team after that AJ deal went through. Dude, you're gonna literally become a millionaire. See, here's the thing. I think it was 5 million that they offered him, or 7 million. They offered Luis Ortiz for the AJ fight, and Jimenez like went public with it and said that they were lowballing him, and Eddie all of a sudden got real pissed off, and then decided to take or resend the offer. And meanwhile, Luis Ortiz and Herman Calcedo knew nothing about the deal at hand. Something is really wrong with that. Now, I know behind the scenes that they were going to hold him on ice for Wilder for the second rematch and blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, at least Iowa had a choice. Give me a fucking choice in the matter. Don't tell me what's best for me without telling me what's best for me. Are you crazy? That's the craziest thing that went down between Luis Ortiz, Jim Jimenez, and Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua. K1 Grand Prix. I don't know. No, not really. 7 million, and I feel Ortiz knew about that deal, but didn't want it. I don't know. He said he didn't. I don't see him lying, unless he's a big liar and he just didn't want it. But I don't think that's the case. I think Luis Ortiz wanted that fight, bro. I don't want to think Luis Ortiz was a punk and was scared to fight Anthony Joshua. I don't think that was the case at all. He already fought Wilder. Why wouldn't he fight Joshua? You know what I'm saying? I don't think that was the case. I think that they actually bullshitted him. And I think Al Heyman was the reason that he was like, you know what? I think Jim Jimenez called Al Heyman before letting Luis Ortiz know. Because Al Heyman runs the shit. He really runs everything around them. I think Jim Jimenez had to go to Al Heyman, because if he didn't, he would have had repercussions and consequences. You know? Because I think that was their mother network. Their mother network is PBC, Fox, Showtime. So if he went to the Zone to get a deal behind Al Heyman's back, he was afraid that Al Heyman may not work with him again. But then again, I'm just speculating, because it could be a situation where Al Heyman really ran the shit anyway, and Jim Jimenez knew to do that. You know, he had no intentions of being the best for Ortiz. He never wanted the best for Ortiz. And it was sad. I felt sorry for him, because when that fight was announced and Eddie Hearn, and hey, we sent him an offer, I was like, shit, you sent him an offer? That's fucking great. We got Luis Ortiz versus Anthony Joshua, and then we could put this shit to bed that nobody wants to fight Ortiz, right? Because that was the whole thing that Wilder, nobody wants to fight old ass Ortiz. Beat his old ass like I did. Everybody say he old. We'll beat his old ass then. Right? Yeah, I want to see Ortiz versus White, but you know, White thinks he's too good for fucking fighters, and that's what gets me about White. White thought he was too good for Otto Vailane. He thought he was too good for Luis Ortiz. I don't buy that whole bullshit. I think and here's something else we need to put into play. If they did that and they sabotaged Luis Ortiz to get him out of the Anthony Joshua fight, you think they wouldn't do that for the Dillian White fight as well? Because that was around the same time. Late 18, they were trying to orchestrate a fight between him and White. The best promoters are Oscar and Hearn, to be honest. Nobody's out there talking to the media the most and hyping stuff up. All Bob don't do anything like that. Yeah, Bob you got to just sit around Bob and catch his ass in the lobby. He's waiting for his van. Hey, how you doing? I think these fighters don't know what the hell they want. Kurt working overtime today, like 2 hours plus. Oh yeah, man. Sometimes I get there. I just actually woke up from a nap. So I woke up at like 3:05 and I was like, ugh. So I got on immediately, right? So yeah, I've been at it. I've been at it. A couple videos, been like 4 videos or maybe 5 videos. I'm not sure. I would never rate Luke Tommy above Usyk. I don't know who that is. Something else, something's else AJ don't get respect for, and that's him willing to fight all these people. AJ has got tired of Fury, Wilder, Ortiz, and Ivy. Probably missed a couple, but yet it's been AJ trying to get fights. Well, understand too, AJ made a lot of money. If you fought a lot of people, but you've made a lot of money, it would be different if AJ fought a lot of people and got beat by a lot of people and didn't really make the money that he felt he deserved based on the opposition that he took on. That's a totally different issue. But AJ's made that money. AJ's made more money. People talk about Eddie Hearn all day. That motherfucker has made AJ a millionaire, has made himself in the process a millionaire with AJ alone, along with other people in Matchroom. AJ has made millionaires in Matchroom. Now imagine if you were one of those managers or lawyers of Anthony Joshua and your retaining fees and the things that you did for AJ as far as paperwork and all that shit and behind the scenes stuff. And you've made, and and you've bought cottages and condos and shit like that and cars off of the salary and the checks that AJ's made based on those fights that he's made and won. Few lost, but mostly won. Dude, you gotta love that. You gotta love that whole idea. Everybody won. Damn, remember when AJ was fighting? Damn, I've made $10 million from AJ over the last 4 or 5 years. That's crazy. People don't look at that like that. Hey, I think AJ ducked Wilder. Well, if you were going to say that based on what you heard of the 50 million, the 100 million, it's safe to say they both ducked each other then. Juice didn't want to fight Ruiz. That was a bogus offer. Guy didn't want to fight a southpaw on 5 weeks' notice. Fight Ruiz? You mean Ortiz, right? Not Ruiz. Kurt, who wins Philip Ergovic? Hey, you know what, Scance Rant? I'm going to go with you there. I don't think it was Anthony Joshua at all. I think it was Eddie Hearn. I think Eddie Hearn didn't want that Ortiz fight. He might have offered that fight, and then but then again, it's kind of hard to say. Would you really, would you really give someone an offer of that much if you didn't want them to fight? I don't know, man. No, the old saying is you never hit a man when he's down. Counterpunch. Absolutely. Luke the Ducker. AJ declined Fury and Wilder. I don't know about decline Fury and Wilder. I think that AJ, should rebuild. That Jermaine Franklin fight was an awakening for a lot of people, and it was a wake-up call for others. I think AJ is a guy that needs to take time to find out what he really needs to do. And I'll say this, it's not really fair for people to judge him based on what he did. I just think he did it so fast. People now expect him to be over in there because of the accomplishments that he's already done. Well, he's already done this. He's been a 2-time world champion. He's made millions of dollars and this, that, and the other. He has endorsements up the ass, and he loses to a couple guys, and now he's finished. Well, guess what? He may not be finished because it ain't over till it's over. What is that from the 80s? No, actually the 70s. GP, Grove Street. Wilder himself admitted to turning AJ down to fight Fury. Yeah, he admitted that shit. I should have went with him. Yeah, you should have, dude. You didn't, though. Drool Titan LLC. Hergovic is a hype job like Joyce. Hergovic is a hype job. I'm not sure if they're all. Man, I just think we're in the era of guys that are not as good as we think they are, based on fighting nobody. AJ didn't shine against Franklin. His next fight will be very interesting. XK shots, absolutely. The Godfather of boxing, yeah, could getting late over this side of the pond. Hope you have a good night. Catch your live stream. Next one, respect, brother. The Godfather of boxing. I thank you guys for coming on, man, hanging out with me on this Sunday. Um, Andy Ruiz, again, I hope he takes the deal. And if his father is a problem, he needs to get rid of his father as his manager. Case closed, because he can't afford to overlook a fight like this, And if he does, people, he's made a habit of turning down good fights. And this is the third time. What do I mean by that? First was Dillian White. Second was Luis Ortiz in 2020. And third is Deontay Wilder in 2023. Then if he's not able to get these fights, he should go off and hang out with Michael Hunter, because him and Michael Hunter have a lot in common. That means they have had that one fight that could have been something. Well, at least Andy Ruiz has made some M's. I'm not sure about Michael Hunter. But Michael Hunter is a guy, he should hang out with Michael Hunter and Demetrius Andrade. Okay, because those guys can never seem to get a fight based on what they think they're worth, and they should have taken a risk like a lot of them hasn't done. But anyway, thank you guys for coming on. God bless you all. Have a great weekend. See you Monday. And all of you guys have been Counterpunch. Peace!